What's going on, Consciouz? Your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to talk about. Before we get into it, go ahead and run the likes all the way up. Thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are doing one of the most significant things you can do here for the platform, which is unthawing that algorithm and notifying the other Conscious crew members that we're in the motherfucking building. Also, if you enjoy everything that Kane does here, you can always donate to the platform at $ Cash App, Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, and that's Conscious with a Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the channel. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below, as well as scrolling from right to left at the bottom of the screen in red and white. Also, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact King. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your community wall, your Snapchat, your Twitter, your TikTok, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them know that we're loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Oh.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, Conscious crew? Let me shout out to my donor. Shout out to Jada, who says, love your content. Thank you so much, baby mother. Shout out to my baby father, Mike, for the old Nancy piece of child support check, who says, for the live. Thank you so much. You guys know all donation information is in the description box as well. Now, you guys know that we just got off of a live stream talking about the excerpt in singer Brandy Norwood's memoir, Phases, where she chronicles her turbulent and toxic relationship and entanglement to Boyz2Men's member. I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Morris so that I don't butcher his motherfucking name because I will tear his ass up, okay? Who was apparently 22 years old when she, as a 16-year-old, embarked upon a romantic and sexual relationship to this man. It was an entire shit show because there are contradictory statements made by Mr. Morris as it relates to his point of view of their relationship. He claims that Brandy's parents knew about their relationship and that also she was quote unquote of age when they began sexually dealing, even though he doesn't give a definitive age in which Brandy was when they began having dealings, but claims that she was of age when they started having sex and that they were also having sex in states where the age of consent laws made it perfectly legal. So at the very least, we know she was somewhere between 16 and 17. I mean, he says 16, 17. I'm also getting different reports. Like some reports are saying that she said she was 15. Other reports are saying she said she was 16. So in either instance, girl, we moved through and navigated that conversation. And I asked you guys if you guys wanted to come up and have an open discussion on the situation with Brandy and Mr. Morris. And I have my wonderful and beautiful moderator, Rumors and Tea here, who wants to sound off and give her thoughts. If you guys want to speak and give your thoughts on Brandy's entanglement with Mr. Morris, you are welcome to hit the link. It's for anyone. We're not going to be here all day either. So if you're coming, try to come now and get up here ASAP so you have an opportunity to explore thought and have an opportunity to speak your truth. Now, presenting Rumors and Tea. Hey, boo.
Hey, Conscious. Hey, crew.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Y'all make sure y'all thumbs up the video. And for those who haven't, Don't forget to bless the king.
Get the blessing.
Also, don't wait to the last minute. Y'all come up here because
That part.
we were very opinionated, which is great. I like to have dialogue. This is not an echo chamber, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in hearing other people's thoughts as well.
Yes. So tell me what you think about the Brandy Morris storyline arc, because it is so much going on there. There's so many moving parts in that situation. What are your
It
thoughts?
is. There's so much just from the her and Wanya topic that we can have subtopics about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First and foremost, I think Brandy is a self-perpetuating victim.
Mm.
And I think it really has more to do with less than the whole Disney princess, type of thing for the industry, and more about the religion, being a PK child. I think she has intentionally gone out of her way to present and show up, especially in this time, because she's, in my opinion, overgrown. And I do believe that, everything is not for everybody. However, she goes out of her way to be the polar opposite of her brother, who's a whole train wreck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in considering that, I'm like, her talking points in regards to the relationship. Now, I do believe there's some truth she's speaking, and I believe there's some truth in what YA is saying. I think there's some lies and some untruths on her behalf, as well as on his behalf as well. Interestingly enough, earlier today I was on Netflix. Once I couldn't view the previous video, I went on Netflix and I'm like, let me see what's on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, let me see what's on. Now, normally, I like history and things of that nature, but I'm not really a big fan of like watching content or movies, documentaries about the other races too much. But there's this movie on Netflix called Priscilla, about Priscilla Presley. And for those, I'm pretty sure most people know, she was a minor. Her and Elvis had a 10-year age gap. She was literally like 14 when she was basically recruited. It was like, a recruitment. And throughout his existence and as a celebrity, he had a pattern of dating women that were of age, but definitely minors.
Mm-hmm.
But he would go through the parents. He would literally go meet the parents, assure the parents, negotiate. He didn't take no for an answer. He would love bomb them, and they would send their daughters. They would make all of these stipulations, right? And they would allow their daughters to go to this man because they didn't send for them. He would send for them, but they would allow their daughter to go to this man's house with other adults, right? And under the guise that he's going to be honorable. So it's when I saw the clip of YA, which was a few days ago, saying that the Norwoods knew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah,
uncommon, right?
This is a huh?
I said it's not uncommon, right?
It is not. It is really, not only is it a common practice in Hollywood, because let's be for real, not saying that is right, but let's be for real. That is super common in Hollywood or entertainment, period. But most definitely in Hollywood, where you see young girls, literally teenagers, and I'm not talking about even at the age of 16, even younger than that, they're going into clubs with adults, drinking with adults, hanging with adults. And most of the time we're seeing throughout history, whereas when they become adults, usually later on in life, they put out their bios and memoirs, and they begin to divulge all of these inappropriate relationships with adults. and their parents or guardians were well aware. But because of, as you stated, capitalism, right? Everybody wants to get a seat at the table. And they literally do. I'm not going to solely put this on the Norwoods wholeheartedly because I believe Brandy wanted to engage with him. Obviously, she never disputed that. Um, I also believe you said it when I was thinking it. The only reason why Brandy is making this an age thing now and feeling like and I'm not saying he did not, but making it about him being predatorial, right, is because she's a perpetuating victim. Because the reality is, the age, in my opinion, had nothing to do with it. He was going to be who he is or who he was, no matter the age. I'm pretty sure he conducted himself to cheating and all of that. Probably more than likely did that to Adina too.
Because
And
look
God
at
knows,
he also cheated on a 16, 17-year-old with also a full adult woman, Adina.
right?
So yeah, so
Right.
like that, and that's what I meant in my previous commentary when I was like, unfortunately, like his behavior is a reflection of something like much more systemic and pathological in males' perception as it relates to opposite sex dynamics, because this is the way that men just play all women. So a lot of the things that Brandy experienced, from the gaslighting, the narcissistic abuse, him being opportunistic, aka predatorial, is something that I'm sure a lot of women in his life can attest to, regardless of age, because his behavior transcends age.
And I don't want, for me, that age thing is so nuanced because in 2026, we don't have, even though that we do have a repeating cycle of life, right, and things, experiences, but the age factor, oh, they only go after women that are younger because they're younger, naive, they don't know any better. I don't believe that in 2026 that is the mindset. There may be a few men that think that way, but overall, age has nothing to do with it, because the same thing he would do to a 16-year-old, he would do to a 40-year-old, because it's not about age, it's about the mindset. And they're going to try anybody. So, like, this whole "it won't happen to me" type of mentality, like, it will happen to you. It's what, just how you choose to move forward. What I mean? Like, if you choose to walk away or continue to stay in that relationship. People try because they when it comes to men in general, narcissistic men especially, no one is unobtainable. No one is, in their minds, bigger than the program. Everyone can be manipulated. Everyone can be controlled. So to think that it won't be you, unless you choose to disengage early on, if you pay attention to the signs, it could easily be you, because they would try anyone. Now,
And can I put a
I
pause on the super there, like right there, super quick? The state of being says, nah, age has a lot to do with it. They get off on controlling someone who is more gullible. I think that what me and Rumors are saying is that we aren't negating that, because obviously I think that if you set it up on a hierarchy, the younger the woman is, like, that's considered ideal prey to a man. But what we're also saying is that men are generally predatorial, period, irregardless. Like, all women of all ages from all walks of life can attest to men trying to play games with them, love bombing them, drugging them, raping them, giving them false hope and promises just to get what they want out of the woman. And so there's a general way in which men have been socialized that creates general predatorial psychology. But of course, yes, like as I said earlier in a previous live stream, we know that men have had fetishes since the dawn of time toward virgins and the innocent, and You know, so there definitely is a niche as it relates to predatory behavior when it comes to preying on young people, but men generally also have a predatory attitude toward women because that's what patriarchy has created. Is that reasonable to say, Aromas?
Absolutely. I've shared space many of times. My preferred um, social circle are women of the age of 50 and older. And I've been in spaces now, even with women that I personally knew, just social spaces. And believe it or not, they have the same shared experiences with men. But these women will not, unlike someone that is younger than them, they won't put these niggas on blast. They'll talk in intimate, small social, intimate circles, but they will not, out of shame of being older and all of the things of you should be wiser and all of that stuff, the ageism of it all when it comes to being older and being more mature and having, learned from past experiences, et cetera. They're not as vocal as younger women are, where we'll put these niggas on blast. We'll go on social media, we'll get out and make a thing. And even if we, and I say I'm speaking we because I don't want anybody to feel attacked. But even if you choose to even stay and go, go through all of the rigmarole of the chaos and drama and still stay with the person, we would still do that, right? Older women don't. They have their own way of low-key exposing by still trying to maintain as if they really need to, but trying to maintain an image in how they expose the person. So but back to Miss Brandy,
because I would like to compartmentalize a little bit in this conversation since there is so many moving parts. So
mm-hmm.
I want to welcome Hudson to the platform as well. So I want to ask y'all just to kind of organize the conversation some more. So the age thing, there's a big kind of, like there's a divide about, well, he wasn't that much older than her. She's 16, he 21, 22. In some states, the age of consent is 16. He admits he intentionally hooked up with her in states where it was quote unquote legal. What are y'all's thoughts just about this 16 to 21 age of consent? 16 is legal in some states. What are y'all feelings about that portion of this?
It's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one hand, kind of genius on their both of their ends to go to states where they're age of consent is favorable for them, but also alarming because she admitted that she was lying, because I saw somewhere where they read a little bit more. She lied to her parents about where they were going and things of that nature. So it's kind of scary to know that if you have to lie in order to do what you want to do, then that must mean you feel as though you're what is it? You know that what you're doing is wrong, but there's a word for that, but you're convicted.
She said that in the book that I knew that what we were doing was wrong.
So that is wrong, which that's a human thing. So I'm again offering grace. It's wrong, but yet you still do it. Interesting. The accountability of I knew it was wrong, but I still did it. It's quite interesting.
Do you think that the age of consent should be boosted up? Do you think that 16, 17-year-olds should be able to consent to having sex with someone over the age of 21?
I do for legal purposes. I think that if you're saying, well, you said 16 and 17, but
Mhm.
people have a problem with the age 18, and you can vote at 18. I mean, hell, people have a problem with the age of 21, but you can buy lit cigarettes, you can buy alcohol, you can gamble, all the things that they say make you an adult. I do find it interesting that most people that have those talking points, like, no, that's still a child, are typically, if they have children themselves, typically tell their children when they turn 18 to either pay bills or get out because you're grown. The
Hello.
same.
How y'all doing? Ooh, sorry. Go
Go
on.
ahead, go ahead. I don't want to put. Go ahead and talk.
I don't believe all of what Brandy is saying or all of what Wanya is saying, whose
Mhm.
name is actually Wayne, by the way. And
Oh, yang. Mhm.
aside from that, both of them were amongst dozens of people
Mm.
constantly. They were number one artists, whether it's Bad Boy, whether it's Boyz2Men or
Mhm.
Brandy. From what I know of back then, and I'm someone that worked in the industry since I was a child. Like I remember when Biggie lost his life, like forever, because my brother is somebody. Well, we'll go there another day. But anyway, um, Mrs. Norwood was someone that did not leave Brandy's side.
Mm.
Now I'm sure she didn't go every place with her, but she knew what was going on in her kid's life. She always knew, even if she didn't like travel with them every single where. Most of the places she would go though,
Mhm. I can
and
see
as
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
And my whole thing is if Brandy's underage and it was a problem or is an issue, which on me, yes, it definitely is. I'm a mother of a daughter, which is common, is that nobody's speaking up. There's a bunch of grown adults of all ages around these people constantly, and everyone's just putting their head down in fear of either losing their job or being blacklisted or whatever it is. But why is no one speaking up? That's a big issue with me. And it shouldn't be like mind your business and all that. I'm just gonna mind my business. No, you're gonna sit there and watch a child be manipulated, taken advantage of, and essayed and all this other mess, and you're not gonna say nothing, nothing to her even or him, because he was pretty young too. I'm sure he was young and dumb. And if Mrs. Norwood couldn't be there, there definitely was some. She has agents, managers, assistants, both of them. Production people, putting up lights, setting up sets, all type background singers, everyone. Where's their noodle? And I stop right there for now.
And I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Aromas. What do you think about the age gap, the 16 to 21, 22? Like, do you think that even though the law permits it in certain states, that, I mean, do you take any issue with it? Or you think if the law says 16-year-old can consent, then consent it is?
Predators gonna prey anyway, so it don't matter what the age is. But as far as 16 to 21, I think that is cutting it really close. And I
Mm,
wouldn't want to. I would want to see it raise some, not even lower. But like I said, predators are gonna prey regardless.
yeah. Hmm.
We need to teach the quote unquote victims how to move and maneuver because if you're waiting for the predators to respect you or follow the law or have some type of morals, it ain't gonna happen. Point blank. Period.
Well, I'm going to be transparent. As someone too, like conscious, I dated older all my life, still do. And so, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. There are people that are minors that are the pursuee. Um, so even in that, I do think the age of consent, again, if you're telling me that I cannot, because I don't make good informed decisions, I cannot go and buy alcohol at the age of 18, then I shouldn't be able to consent at the age of 16. If you're saying that I don't have um the emotional withdrawal to make good decisions for myself when it comes to who I choose to be my president until I'm 18, then the age of consent should not be 16. And because it's a state law, I think straight across the board that each state should, whatever age you're saying that it is okay for them to vote or drink or smoke, should be the age of consent.
Now, I will say this for the record. I think that there needs to be, like the Romeo and Juliet law that I put in the chat. I think
Hmm.
that should be a federal law. I do think if someone's 18 and someone is 17, the 18-year-old shouldn't get locked up. I do think that, or even let's say 16, 17, and 20 or something like that. That I don't have an issue with. I think that the Romeo and Juliet law should be federal and not just, state pertaining.
Look that up because I've never heard of the Romeo Julio law.
Hmm.
Oh.
Some states is 2 years, some states is three, some is four.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. The Romeo
So
Juliet
sometimes,
law is a legal provision that reduces or eliminates statutory rape charges for individuals engaged in consensual sexual relationships when both parties are close in age. These laws are intended to prevent teens and young adults from facing harsh penalties such as felony convictions or mandatory S3X offender registration for consensual acts with someone of a similar age. The specific age differences and conditions vary significantly by state. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Interesting.
because what if you have a boyfriend and you're 15 and 16, not even that you're sleeping together, just that your boyfriend and girlfriend and y'all are homecoming king and queen, and now he graduated school, but you're still in high school.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I actually go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I would say that has happened. I was a freshman and my boyfriend was a senior. And I think he was maybe 17 going on 18, and I was like, what, 13 going on 14? And yeah, he went off to college by the time I was in my sophomore year. But yeah, that it's a lot of that overlap be happening a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was going to say when I was in high school, I experienced that as well with a freshman, with a senior. And when her mom passed, her dad lived in the same town, right? Same city. She had to go live with her dad. And because he was not fully like involved in her life to know every little thing he knew about the boyfriend. He just didn't know the age gap. And by the time her mom died, that was when we were like sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad pressed charges on him because they found out she was pregnant.
Mm.
But this was someone she had been with, pretty much we were in high school. So, that's a real thing that happens. And I just think that, when it comes to the age, I think it's an individualism thing as well. Because we cannot ignore that yes, they may be inexperienced, but there are still some people that are younger, that are mature for their age. I was one of them. And there are, we always talk about how men are less mature than women, right? So even though I still don't agree, because for me, it's the law. It's the law that I be more concerned with versus like a moral thing, because I know personally my own experience, but I know mine's is not everybody else's. I know that why I always was attracted to older, and I know why, I try and I just could not date anyone in my generation. And it's still like that to this day. But I may be, like the exception to the rule. We may be a part of like the 1%, group in that. But when it comes to the law, because that's what allegedly supposed to be like what keeps things in order, right? The system, it says this age, that age, this age, that age. So people may frown upon it from a moral standpoint, but if it's legal, it's like, you have to consider that too. If this is what the law states, the person that is the older in the situation has to have some type of more good, I ain't saying their intentions is all pure, but they have some type of decent morals to them to honor and respect what the law says, at least.
I think there should be a issue with child neglect. If it's a minor thing and it's an issue with age, it should definitely, the parents need to be called on the carpet too. They should be
Right,
called on the carpet for child neglect. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Because I think of victims like, what's her name, Naziah? And
So
yeah,
Naziah Harris.
yes, yes. And she lived in a house with a bunch of full grown
Mhm.
adults who not only were her family members, but they took care of her. They didn't have to, but they
right.
took her in. And look what happened to her. And they knew what was going on. They knew she was
Yeah.
pregnant. That wasn't her first time. And all this other nonsense. They should be held accountable more than getting their own kids taken away from them. If someone could be held accountable for childhood neglect when they leave their kid alone in the house at 12 years old to run to the supermarket, get some butter real quick. If you leave your 17-year-old with a grown man or your 16-year-old with a grown man and something happens, you need to be called to the carpet too.
Because we definitely talked about that, Hudson. We've definitely talked about that on the platform when it comes to the entertainment industry. The fact that, let's entertain Brandy's talking points. Her parents didn't know. They thought this was going to be all about business and everything. But you guys allowed this man full access to your child at some point unsupervised, because we know this clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that we all feel like we have a pinpoint what we think are lies or not, but we see there are some questionable things being said on both sides. But one thing they both have said, that there was actually sexual intercourse between them throughout their engagements with each other. If that is true, which I believe, I'm looking at her parents.
Yeah, because she's a minor, so that means she's too young to think for herself or make her own decisions. So who is supposed to be doing that for her? Her parents. And it happens a lot in the industry, and that's the part of the reason why Aaliyah and R. Kelly were married. It wasn't because like they had a relationship. It was done with the intention of him being able to take her on the road. That's what the whole issue was. But because nobody was with that child, apparently in rumor that things were happening. You got to take care. You can't just hand your kids off to anyone, or just not be involved, even if it's a civilian. If your child's too young to think for themselves, then that's up for you. That's up to you to do.
So do you feel like that is straight across the board, Hudson, or do you think that it's an individual thing? You know what I'm saying? Each child is different, as all humans, each person is different. Or do you think it's just straight across the board?
I think it's straight across the board. I do. Because if you're a quote unquote mature young lady, your parents would know that. And I think that needs to be said. There also needs to be bills and stipulations and things like that. But a lot of time those older men, they love to use that as an, oh, you're so mature for your age. A little BS. Like what does that even mean? To be
Well,
honest.
after watching
Because
what I
that's
watched,
subjective. That's very
after
subjective.
watching what I watched today, to be quite honest, even though I, seen things in the past and buyout picks and all of that, but it was a reminder for me that yes, in entertainment, unfortunately, in the entertainment industry, you have minors. I mean, I'm talking about little. We ain't even talking about teenagers. You have minors that are exposed to things that are typical, like Conscious said, Drew Barrymore. Drew
You know
Barrymore
what I'm
was
saying?
out partying when she was like 7 to 8 years old. Might have been a little younger than that. When it's not the norm outside of the entertainment industry for someone that was in that age generation to be exposed to what she was exposed to. So I could see Drew Barrymore at the age of, let's say, 14, 15, dating someone, well, probably in their 30s. because she has now been exposed to a world, and now she has, maybe not fully because she
That's
hasn't
crazy.
experienced enough. Huh?
That's crazy. In their 30s, that's crazy. And that's up to her parents to step in and say, like, no, this is not going down. Absolutely not. If she sneak around behind their parents, then they need to be charged as well with child neglect because they wasn't watching her. I didn't even get my period till I was 14.
Oh yeah, you was a late bloomer, baby.
I was late.
But I don't know what, I mean, I don't know what having the menstrual cycle would mean about the experience, because that's the thing about humans. Everyone does not adapt and learn at the same rate. And so I do still, but I still stand on, I do feel like based upon the law, but when it comes to like the nuanced conversation about maturity and things of that nature, just because I didn't mature at the same rate as you matured, doesn't deem me inadequate to be more mature, more prepared in a sense. I may not be prepared through my own experiences because that's something that people tend to disrecognize. There is a such thing as having your own personal experiences, and then there's also a thing of having a shared experience through watching others experience,
But then
and we
that
learn from
can
each.
go on, sweetie. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, and we learn from each. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it may come like 20 years from now. Let's say hypothetically, you may have never been cheated on this whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you watched me be cheated on, and you saw how I handled it. You watched everything unfold. So you learned the lesson. It just wasn't your own personal lesson. And then 20 years later, you finally, no, I won't say it like that, but let's say 20 years later, someone cheats on you. Now you finally have your own personal experience, which although it's a little different because now it's tangible. You know what it feels like, but you also experienced it through somebody else's lenses 20 years prior.
Well, you as a child, you would still process it differently, I believe. Like, what does the word mature even mean? I don't think it's because you can sit through a movie without giggling, or you don't jump double dutch anymore, or like you did good in your science class, so that means you're mature. Mature literally means with age. Can you look up the definition, please? I'm conscious.
That's mature
Like if
for
you
your
say an
age.
apple, oh that yes, please. An apple is mature. That means it's old. It's getting oh, don't eat that apple. It's a little too mature. That don't mean not
Mature
that.
for your age meaning. Let's see. Mature for your age meaning. According to Miss AI, being mature for your age means displaying behavior, emotional stability, or decision-making skills typical of someone older, while often a compliment for responsibility or wisdom. It can also signify having to grow up too fast due to early responsibilities or stressful circumstances. So somebody who has a lot of, who is reasonably responsible and caretaking, a child acting as the parent for siblings or managing household tasks, a young person who remains calm, patient, and avoids tantrums or impulsive reactions as described, thinking about complex situations or understanding nuances beyond their developmental level. Basically, a young person who is using a lot of self-awareness, social awareness, independence, and has emotional intelligence.
And how
And
far could that go with someone that's like, let's say 12 or 13 years old? That comes you sometimes you need like just because your mama was a crackhead don't mean that you're ready to have a 22-year-old boyfriend at 13.
And just because your parents are unstable doesn't mean that you are ready to join the workforce at 15 and take on
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for, a household while intercepting with childhood, trying to navigate school and graduating and figuring out what it means to even be a teenager. And yet you're being a parent or having to work and be the quote unquote man of the house or be a second mother to your siblings. These are all the things that I guess escalate responsibility and social awareness that then get interpreted by other people as, oh, you're mature for your own age. And I
You know
guess
how much trauma?
I was considered mature for my age as well. I had a younger brother. I was made to be his guardian, etc. And I was just naturally mature anyway. Like I was very educated, I was very studious, I was very intellectual, and so a lot of grown people would like feel really comfortable with like letting me sit at the table and expose me to very adult conversations, and always felt like I could handle it. I was always like the responsible one in my friendship group, so oftentimes I would be assigned the leadership. I would role of, you know, keep everybody together, keep your cousins together, keep your siblings together. I was always seen as the one who could be trusted, the one who always did what I told. I followed the rules well, so all that made me appear to be mature for my age.
Excuse me, Conscious. Divine, I don't know if he hear it, but I don't know if he got you on another device, but it's giving us feedback.
Okay, I'm gonna mute Divine until he figure out
Them
the
damn Scorpios. Gotta
Scorpio
be
stuff.
bossy.
So, but you know, so funny about y'all exploring, like, well, what does that even mean, right? Because I think that obviously, like, sometimes predators will say that just to try to justify their predatorialness as well on somebody who clearly is not even mature for their age. And mature for their age if they're a minor is still not even an excuse. If they are a minor, it doesn't matter how mature they are, they're still a freaking minor. So
Absolutely.
I don't care if they act like Celia ass. I don't care if they act like they're driving Miss Daisy. I don't care if they act 80 years old. Like, they're still a minor. But to that question, right, I also be on the other side always asking, well, what does predator mean too, especially when we be talking about like men who date down, not per se dating illegally, not dating someone per se who is literally considered a minor, but just like in a Shannon Sharp case, like a 40, 50-year-old man who's dating a 21-year-old girl, and people would be like, oh, that's predatorial, and you know, what do they have in common? But I'm like, do y'all realize that predatorial behavior is not like age specific, that even a 21-year-old man can be manipulative, can be narcissistic, can be abusive, like that you know, a 22-year-old girl can be scandalous and have ulterior motive and be a user and opportunistic. Like these, like this consciousness does not pertain to a particular age. So
Right.
whether somebody is 40 or whether someone is 24, like both people have the capacity to be manipulative and to lie and to and I would think that somebody who's younger actually probably may be more inclined to lie because they just haven't grown up enough. They don't have enough emotional discipline. They don't have enough mental discipline. They don't have enough impulse control. So I would think that, you know, a 19-year-old is probably more fucking nefarious, and there's probably more concern for what that dating experience is going to be versus me 18 dating somebody who's 35 versus me dating another 20-something
Do
year
I still
old.
have feedback?
Yes.
I do.
No.
Oh, it sounds fine now. Yeah, it sounds fine now. So, you know, so I do be just being like, so where, because a part of like, because I was the young person, right, who dated up. As I said in my last live stream, I was 17 dating a 32-year-old man, and we were together for 2 years. I lost my virginity to this man, and he knew I was 17. Now, the age of consent in my state at that time was 16, so there wouldn't have been nothing that my parents could have did about it on a legal level. Even if they had known about it, of course, they did not know about my relationship. I was lying my ass off to my parents about who this man was. I told them that he worked for the school and that he was a mentor and da, da, da. And because I was the trusted sibling, my parents largely would take my word for it. So I use that to my advantage, being someone who had a consistent track record of being entrusted by my parents. So they never really, you know, thought too much of it. But yeah, he was a whole like 32-year-old man, and he lived 2 blocks away. He lived right across the street from my high school, for God's sakes. And oftentimes I would skip school to go be with him. And I dated up largely because I just found other guys my age to be very immature. Like they weren't into the same shit. They didn't have the same range. They didn't have the same interests. I found them to be a nuisance and just irritating. And I just got along better with older people. They seemed a lot more calm and relaxed in themselves. And had something to give up in dialogue, and I also like to learn. So that's something I was also attracted to in older people. Is it was an opportunity for me to know more about life and to know more about just all of that. So and to Ruma's point, I still date up. I still prefer older men. Like I would now that I'm 40. It's like I love to date other men within my age range. Now that I'm at a mature age myself, so there are definitely young people who love to date up. I remember the first time I shared that my boyfriend was 32 when I was 17. Somebody put in the chat and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, CTV, that you were grown." Then I was like, I don't feel like I was grown because I mean he didn't do much grooming. We met through a mutual friend,
Maybe you
and I
groomed
mean,
him. Gosh,
huh?
I said maybe you groomed him.
Right, like I mean, because I mean, for me, like when you're young, you don't have them type of filters like, oh, grooming, etc. Like your premise of being attracted to somebody pretty much is very simple. Am I first and foremost physically attracted to you? That's going to be a big motivation, and then the rest is like compatibility. So when I met him, he was physically attractive, and he had a great personality, and he didn't necessarily inquire about my age initially. He found out kind of like later on, but didn't care once he did find out. And I mean, we just got along, and he thought I was hot shit, and I thought he was hot shit, and we just
Y'all was hot shit together, huh?
yeah, we just had a relationship, and it was a regular relationship like any other relationship. I wasn't being chained up in the basement. He wasn't doing anything that I had not experienced other men doing. I mean, it was just a regular relationship that had regular ebbs and flows, regular highs and lows. There was nothing unique, I should say, I guess, about dating him at 32 versus dating another 17-year-old at that time. I mean, he was just 32, but it was like the same shit to me. Like I didn't per se feel like there was anything super extraordinary, about it. So when I be hearing people do like this whole like there's always a nefarious attachment attached to particularly men's motive for dating down. Once again, and when I say dating down, I'm not talking about dating illegally. I'm not talking about dating a minor. I'm just saying like literally dating down, like a 40-year-old man dating someone in their early 30s or in their mid 20s or in their early 20s. Like there's always a nefarious attachment. Like there got to be some nefarious purposes, but we never also like uncover the nefariousness. It just ends up being an older person wanting to date younger and a younger person wanting to date older. Maybe the younger person is dating up because they also are looking for a certain level of security. And typically, an older person who's lived a little more, who has accomplished a little more, has a bit more security economically, has a bit more structure to their lives. That may appeal to a younger person who maybe came from a raggedy background and didn't have a lot of stability. So that's really important to them. Obviously, somebody within their 20s would still be figuring out life, still trying to figure out if they want to go to college or not, still figuring out what they want to do with their careers. There's a lot of figuring out that wouldn't appeal to someone who is attracted to stability for whatever reason and structure. Somebody who's dating down may be dating down because they have age discrepancies, they have fears about becoming older, and so being with someone younger than themselves, once again, not being with a minor, just being with another legal adult who just happens to be younger than them, may be psychologically appealing to them because it helps them to deflect from the concept of getting old and kind of becoming vintage and outdated. And so being because I've heard like older men and older women say that they like to date young because it keeps them quote unquote young, it
Yeah.
keeps them active, it keeps them energized, it keeps them in tune with the trends of the world and makes
Mhm.
them feel like they're still in the known, and kind of gives them a lucidity and gives them a life. And so not all the reasons in which an older adult would date a younger adult is met with
Honey, we
all of this predatorial, nefarious, evil intention.
Honey, we all was going up for the girls next door, okay? We was all
Oh
living for
my
Holly,
God.
Bridget, Kendra.
Not the
So
Playboy
like
girls. Mm.
I get it. I like an older man too. I just when it's like you said, when it's the babies with the grown men, then it's something different. But yeah, I like an older
Mm.
man. I'm looking for one now. I'm trying to get on my Anna Nicole.
Not looking. Okay, hello. So how old are you talking? Like you're looking for what? A man in his what range?
A man that all I gotta do is show him my titties and he give me his credit card.
Oh, period, honey.
That's
That's
all I need.
baby. That might be any age of man, child. At this point,
I
sure.
know.
Period. Devon, welcome to the platform. Your thoughts on Brandy and Boyz2Men?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, what's going on?
I was okay. So I kind of already said my piece about the whole Brandy Morris and Brandy situation, like, because being someone who has been the younger one talking to the older one, I I feel like what a lot of adults forget. I guess we kind of forget being that age or something. Now, me being in my early 20s, 16 doesn't feel that long ago to me. Like, yes, it's like a lot of times passed. Like, I'm fresh out of high school, but it's like I definitely knew, I was well aware that I was talking to someone twice my age,
Mm.
you know, and I was taught that that wasn't the best look. So I was fully aware, and I don't feel like I was groomed or anything. But I do feel like there are some older men who, because I've seen it with my homegirls. Like she's 23 now, and her ex was like 54, 55.
Mhm.
And I just kind of feel like he was talking to her for control, because it's like he would talk down to her and like say, "Oh, you a child compared to me." And it's like I'm thinking in my head, if he thinks you're such a child, then why is he with you? You know, it'd be I just look at them sideways when it's like you date someone younger, but you don't take them seriously as an adult. That's when I kind of feel like it's kind of some predatory stuff going on, because it's like
The reason why I find men's behavior in relationships to be so unique is because, I mean, men tend to generally be immature, tend to be like less, like they're not as emotionally intelligent as their female counterparts. So this behavior that people be describing, it's like this be what 40-year-old women are also experiencing from men. This be what 30-year-old women are experiencing from men. This be what 60-year-old women are, experiencing from men. It don't be like unique to the older man dating a younger woman. Like women kind of generally having these issues with men, period. Like men, just because of men's narcissism and entitlement and their ignorances around certain things and their emotional immaturity, their emotional unavailability within this
Stupid,
patriarchy done the work on men's community.
stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
I dated a nice man too that I really liked, but he couldn't read, so I couldn't.
Oh,
That should have been even better if he had a coin, girl. I mean, let me not say that because I don't believe.
Yes,
But for someone that may have wanted to, definitely had an Anna Nicole experience. If he had a coin, him not being able to read would have been more beneficial for you.
that's very annoying. You go to a restaurant, you got to read in the menu.
But that was one thing she said though. Like she did say, like, he takes care of me in ways that like guys have never taken care of me before. Like he lets me drive his car. I got keys to his house and stuff. Like she did always like brag about like him being like put up.
She feeling
I
like
provide.
And now me being like, me being the LGBT, I came out when I was 14. And a lot of young boys don't have the confidence to just do that at 14, so it was scarce. So I kind of had to date up. I feel like I had to date up because, like, boys that age, they're trying to figure themselves out. They don't know themselves. They're still living with homophobic parents and stuff. So they don't have the confidence. So I was just by myself a lot. So, and older guys will always pay attention to me. It's even now, like older guys tend to want to talk to me more than my own peers.
Siobhan,
are you? I was mature. Because I can be very articulate. I'm kind of like Mariah Carey-ish with my vocabulary. I'm using big ass words that people don't understand and shit. So I'll be having to dumb myself down to just to relate to people sometimes because I can be overly proper with my verbiage. But I've always been very conscious and very self-aware and aware of the world. But because I came out at such a young age, I had a harsh reality of how the world works. Because I've had not only did my peers make fun of me, but adults, discriminate against me too. So I was getting it from all. So I kind of had to mature faster than a person that age would normally have to mature because they're dealing with discrimination from all sorts of people. Most kids. I'm not saying that kids don't deal with discrimination at a young age and stuff, but it's different when you deal with that. It's like you do have to be more. You have to have more of a thick skin. You can't really just be too childish because they kid in peace. Their fathers won't let you hang out with their sons and stuff, and it's so much.
I really
That's
want us
where it
to do a.
lies. That's where the hurdle lies. We need to be focused on teaching that instead of like, oh, please stop being a predator and like because it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. We need to teach,
And no
especially our kids, to be
about how easy
stronger.
boys to be, to deal with predators too, because a lot of people, in the hood, no shade,
Mm,
kind of neglect the boys. They got, well, they're men, they boys, they can fend for themselves and stuff. So no one's really
Yeah.
women.
But
Your father protective, everybody's overprotective. The women, the brothers, everybody. The father, they're not going for that shit. But with the boys, like you're a man, so it's like you kind of on your own, even at a young age. I've seen boys at like 12 years old, 13 years old. They're outside at like midnight, past midnight. Meanwhile, the daughter is, at home, being a kid like she's supposed to. But that's only because the parents, people the adults that be, they're more protective of the girls than they are the boys.
well, I mean that goes when I say both ways in regards to the males, right? Because you're not protecting them by teaching them, which is done in conscious saying everybody knows this. Boys are groomed as well to be predators, so how about teach them the opposite, but
Yeah.
most people do not even know how much they perpetuate a lot of the toxic patriarchal social thinkings, like indoctrines. Most people really don't know. And to be quite frank, parents groom their children all the time.
And that's what I feel like what happened with parents, like Brandy and
mhm.
I actually had a conversation about this on Twitter the other day about like how someone was saying something about Elite State and how I forgot what it was, but they were just like, why can't they redo Aaliyah's debut album cover? Why do they have R. Kelly in the background? And I'm just like, you know, I don't feel like the parents are quiet, and I just feel like parents don't speak out much because they were well aware. Like I feel like these parents be knowing. Like how do you not know that you can't say that you're with your kid all the time and then you don't know if you're talking to a grown ass man.
It's the unspoken truth. It's the elephant in the
Yeah,
room.
And what a lot of people don't
it
realize,
should
a lot
never
of
be. It
the
should
parents may not have
never
a
be
problem with it.
neglected.
The parents may not have a problem with it because you never know. Sonya may have talked to her husband at a young age. Maybe she was a young girl that was talked to an older man, so she didn't even look at it like that either.
Yeah, the generation.
Because
Yeah.
mother never speaks about it. Aaliyah's mom never talks about it. They have rights. Apparently, they have rights to the debut album only. So, but she never comes out about R. Kelly or nothing. Nothing against him or nothing.
And
And
I
I feel
don't
like
think he should be
they put all
like
that
he should
blame
be.
on Wanya. They put all the blame on Wanya and R. Kelly, but they were 14-year-old girls. Like their parents should have been way more involved. That was a certain kind of leniency.
And that's why I
But
think it should be an issue of childhood neglect. When their parents are feeding them to this prey or just neglecting the fact that they're with prey, like those weirdos that like the very young girls, the girls who are still in high school, who cruise around the high school looking for chicks and things like that.
How old is Brandy's parents? How old is Brandy's parents? Does anybody know the age gap between them?
I'm going to
I
assume.
know
Oh, I don't know the age gap.
Miss Norwood would take out that belt though. At the kids, at the news reporters.
on a tight ship.
Mm-hmm. See, my thing is how you run a tight ship in a not in her.
Sonja is approximately 75 and Willie is currently 70. So there's a 5-year age gap between them.
But see, how felt to ass in the industry, but not behind the scenes, though. See, she probably didn't look at it the same that we're looking at it. We're probably looking at it like, oh, they're being grown stuff. But what if they're not? What if the parents are like, the parents aren't involved? Because it wasn't just Brandy. It was Aaliyah. It was Monica. Like they were all really young. Britney Spears. They all came out at a really young age. I used to
It's a
wonder.
tell of time. It's
Yeah,
this
That's how
is
the
it,
industry is. Look at
it's
even,
nothing
and it's not
new.
just black people. Wait, it's not just black people. We need to make that clear because look at Demi Lovato too when
yeah.
she was
Demi
in
Lovato
Joker
just got was
Valderrama.
groomed by the guy from that '70s
And
show.
Justin Bieber is for the men
Mm-hmm.
too.
Usher,
Yeah.
Ralph Tresvant. He just told his little story.
Aaron Carter, all them people.
Aaron
I
Carter.
just hate when people be like, and because black people this and black people that. I'm like, they're weirdos too. What you talking
No,
about?
Yeah, but they're the biggest weirdos in the building. Like they are the leaders of the weirdo clan.
no, this is not a black thing. This is an industry thing. This is a power thing.
I had a photographer show me his junk when I was 15 years old, and my
That is
mother was downstairs, and I did not tell her.
And
wow.
think
What
like
made you
this,
not tell
y'all.
your mom? Like what had made you not tell her? Like was it fear of her reaction? Like
I'm from New York. They used to whip it
mm,
out like there used to be a guy in a trench coat too. I guess I
it
could
was
have
another
been
day in New York.
in the park, but
Sounds
I
like
just didn't want to worry her
Mhm.
for the most part. Like I didn't want to worry her, and I knew how blackballing worked too, and
Mm,
things like that.
wow.
And no one, when it comes to the industry, I was first of all, it's all together, like the
Yeah.
music, the broadcasting industry, television and stuff like that, and movies,
Mhm.
modeling industry, and the sports industry. It's all one big ball
It is.
conglomerate
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
So if you're blackballed, it's like you might as well go back to frying French fries,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. You
Think
could
about it like this: in other countries, in America, we can talk about grooming, but in other countries, it's fully legal for them to talk to girls that young.
oh
Hmm.
absolutely. Like it's child brides and all that going on in the Middle East and everything. Yeah, like
So
girls
there's
as old as
great.
10 and 9 are being handed over to
But they
marriage.
Child,
teach their girls,
South
Oh man.
like, cause I
America too.
what was it, Columbia or something? And someone told me
South
that
America.
the little girls walk
Mhm.
around with switchblades in their cheek, like the razors in their cheek. They used to do that in
Mhm.
New York to the Hispanics.
I
But
heard Sweden could be like 13, and you can marry them.
they have to protect themselves. We got to teach them that as well as teaching our sons to be normal. But girl, you need to learn how to
That's the
hold a
key
switchblade.
right there, Hudson, is that that this society is really going to have to pull a collective uno reverse on the way we socialize men, because that's really what the core problem is. If we don't correct that problem, women are going to be forced to have to deal with the absurdity and the outlandishness of male predatorial behavior, which is so unfair because women just should not have to exist within that type of a system where it's easy, oftentimes encouraged, as it relates to the abuse of women and the objectification of women. And the onus is going to have to fall on the culture to raise men very differently, because it's in the raising that is the key to the solution here. And like I was saying earlier in my last live, like boys are raised in an entirely different world than girls are. Even if they're coming up under the same roof, they got the same parents. The messaging that men give to boys is very different from maybe the messaging that a mother would give to a young man. But when a father is in the house, or when men are present in boys' lives, boys almost inherently are going to take more to the messaging coming from men than they are from the opposite sex, just because of the gender bias. Just like girl is probably more likely to adhere to the cues given to her from the women in her life versus the men in her life, just because she's a female too. Um so destroying that and holding accountability to that is what's going to disrupt a lot of this patriarchal abuse of women, because this is sick. I couldn't imagine what it feels like to be a woman, like having being raised by a woman and having female cousins and friends and everything. It's like, like as a man, I don't even have to think about what time I leave my fucking house, and yet alone what the fuck I'm wearing. Like, but as a woman, I have had to watch the women in my life like contemplate what time they come home, especially if they're dressed a certain way.
That's tiny. I don't understand the tiny women that's like 5 feet even. Like I'm like for my friends, I'm like, how are you going outside? You're not scared? So I'm like, you. I'm 5'10", so guys look at me, they check me out, and then I could see them like questioning if they could take me or not. They're like,
See,
she
and
might
that's
give up a
crazy.
Not
struggle.
only do we have to address parenting, we mostly have to address what is glorified in the media, because I feel like most kids, they take from the media on top of like parents too, but it's really the outside world, outside of those four walls.
Culture.
What they watch on TV,
Mhm.
YouTube, and everything on social media is really what we glorify and what we perpetuate, because they're looking up to the rappers and stuff. They're looking up to the culture that these rappers glorify, and these rappers are coming from certain places of the world where it's like rough and shit. And so the kids that don't grow up like that, they're looking up to that too. And the young men who don't have fathers are looking up to that too. So there's really
Men are
about
gonna have to men are gonna have to get very involved, and are gonna have to be willing to do it very differently as it
a lot of these
relates
rappers are
to
low-key
the cultivation of young males, because a lack of that parenting and stewardship is what's leading to a lot of these niggas growing up to be full on heathens.
You know
So
what?
and
Go
we need
on,
to
I'm sorry,
build
love.
a
I
safe
can
Hey,
space
you
to be
know, oh, what's up? My bad.
we need to
You
build a
know,
safe space for them to be themselves as well. And we need to raise them the right way, and raise them to not only be upstanding men, but to be the kind of men they want to be, and fluid men, because trying to police them, I feel like that also breeds misogyny. That they turn out to be misogynistic or narcissistic, because if I can't be myself, why the hell do you need to take your ass in the kitchen and make me a sandwich? If I gotta do this, if I can't,
all of that just has to be like a disrupted. People need
yeah.
total they need a total undoing and radical disassociation from the current system that we are participating in, because it's led to heinousness. It's led to complete
not the,
abuse and bullshit and harm of other people. Like, men need to understand, because nobody's educating men on how this pre-childhood exposure to sexuality and hypersexuality is literally reshaping young men's brains and their neurological pathways. How this shit desensitizes them to romance. It desensitizes them to the bonds that would otherwise forge and form. Like, there's so much science and data behind the way of pre-exposure to PRN, to hypersexuality, which once again are all things that men encourage in young boys. Maybe like your mom may not encourage her son to go out there and be a hoe, but dad damn sure is like, you don't scoop that, you don't coop that, you don't lost your virginity, boy, you don't got your little piece of pussy, boy, and you can be as young as 8, 9, 10 years fucking old, and your uncles and your dad and the older men in your life are obsessing over your sexuality and how soon, how quick.
look
And
at
that's an
Boosie.
entirely different, and I know
Kidnap
that's an entirely different world than what females are raised in, because I'm sure that no woman is, had the men in her life being like, you don't have your first piece of dick yet, Shelly, at 9 and 10 years old. You out there sowing your wild oats. So it's
But the
like,
women do it. Look at Tokyo and look at all the mothers and what's her name? What's her name start with a B? The really pretty one?
oh,
Oh, not
oh,
Brianna. But anyway, like Tokyo, for
mm,
example. She was taking her daughter out there with her. This woman that like, oh, you need to find a good man and show him this and do him that. They'll be young too. And like, putting them on the stroll, for lack of a better word, next to the curb, not quite
Now,
on it. But
now,
like
what Trump is saying is it's
and
even younger for the boys, because the truth of the matter is, when I was young, I'm talking about adolescence. When I was young, before them 7 digits, I was a tomboy, had been a tomboy for years. And it was okay as long as I was playing like with my cousins and my brothers and stuff, right? But let's say the other neighborhood kids, because our house was always the house everybody came to play to whatever. I was being told, "Don't be a fast ass, get from around that boy." And I'm like, what? And like, when I remember the first time I ever heard like them saying that to me, I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about.
Yeah, you
or
gotta
whatever.
learn reverse
But
psychology too. Like
when
sometimes
it
that
came
places
to, yeah, but it made no sense for some, like, because now curiosity, like, what the fuck are they talking about? You get what I'm saying? And I would hear, it was, nobody had really said to me what being fast was. I just, common sense eventually clicked in and I understood. But when it came to my brothers, who are 1 year older and 3 years older than me, I remember like them being like taken around to watch porn, like by the uncles and the great uncles and the cousins, taking them, like letting them see, watch them actually have sexual encounters, like it was a rite of passage. And like, did you get your first piece yet at damn 12 and 11 years old?
what?
Yeah, I'm talking about like I know that there are like exceptions to like dysfunctional as like women like raising girls, but I'm talking about like generally speaking, like the era I come from, like girls were raised tight. Like get your ass from out of that front yard with them boys. Get your fast
Mhm.
ass in here. Put your titties up. You're not wearing that skirt that short. Your shit need to come to your knees. I mean, like the policing was heavy. You ain't wearing them jeans. Your ass too fat. Go change something. Like like I came from like that type of upbringing where I just watch like older women, and rightfully so because I understand that like a lot of women were their mindset was I'm raising my daughter and preparing her for the world that is, not the world that it should be. And in this world, men are predators and men don't have enough sense. So I'm going to put the onus on the women to navigate that and and so women alongside men encouraged women to feel responsible for men's sexuality. And that shit is also Christian, like this idea that the way you present can tempt me into sin, making you responsible for my sin, making you responsible for my lust. So that's why you should be modestly dressed. That's why you should hide your assets. You should always, as a woman, keep me in mind as a man because I'm not responsible for my actions. You have a role to play in how I behave. This is the type of like distorted messaging that's been communicated in this system that
I think
has
it's always.
Hmm?
I think it's also regional too, because I'm 40 years old as well, and I was born and raised. I said I was born and raised New York. I don't know, New Yorkers love to say that, but you know, we were never. We were just told to be careful for everybody, not just boys, not just who wants to spread your legs or anything like that. We were just told don't be grown and be careful, watch your back, basically. And
Well,
the
you were
only
right
girls
at
that were
the
fast were the girls that were like kept in the house or like went to the Catholic school and things like that. Like the girls that their parents were strict. Those was the ones starting around.
All I can tell you, you were right across the bridge from me. We in the same age category. And yes, there's always exception to the rules. And maybe because predominantly, most of my family were from the South. But that was the talking points. I resented it so much. Especially because I was the only girl for a long period of time up until my aunt became a foster parent. Well, she was already a foster parent, but she started getting children my age. So it felt unfair. I literally were watching, and like the one thing about it, the men in my family, the women were like, I felt like I agree with your talking point when you say the child neglect, because they will hear the men talking to the boys like that. No one, and they perpetuated the same type of, um in my opinion, they perpetuated that, enabled that in large ways, because there was no flip side of protecting my brothers or my other young cousins from like even becoming promiscuous. Like you want them like to be promiscuous. You want them to be, they wasn't ready. They ain't have a fucking job. They like nothing to say that this, like, I do believe sex is for adults.
With
As a
girls,
parent,
because there's a lot of anti-gay mothers too. A whole
Yeah, well,
lot.
I as a parent of myself with two sons, I feel I have the same thoughts I have about girls for boys as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's for adults. It ain't shit to play with. And if you ask a healthy adult, someone that is disciplined, they will tell you it's not even necessary. Like you put so much, people put too much into sex any damn way. But it could potentially, if you make the wrong decisions, even though you never know until you know. But there are some red flags, and there are like pretty much warning signs everywhere at times. But engaging in it can actually be damn near the death of you, or be your greatest regret.
Mm-hmm.
There's consequences.
Did you have pregnant girls in your high school?
I had pregnant girls everywhere in my family, outside my family, everywhere.
You know, it's what's happening, y'all. What's happening, conscious?
Hey, RJ.
Hey, AJ.
Hey.
How y'all doing? I just been enjoying sitting back listening, and when conscious was just talking about, holding the men accountable because, I am kind of the exception to the rule. I had the single dad father who was the lone wolf. Like that's one thing he could not stand. He was like, just because I play sports and your brother plays sports, I don't need you to do that. Now it's one thing if you just naturally did it. Now we all could sing, but I'm the only one that professionally did it, studied, and I also had the gift of playing instruments. So I was encouraged even in my hobbies. My dad he was this type of man. He's like, I'm so secure that he told me this. He said, "Son, I did me. I'm over 70 years old. I did me pretty well. I don't need you to do me for me. I need you to do you."
Amen.
So there's a difference. He was so secure because I have the exception of the rule of having a parent. Yes, that's extraordinary having a father, having a baby at 60 and a mother carrying you at 47. That's an exception to the rule. So I would be the person that my partner and I have been together going on 16 years, and I'm 40 years old, and my baby gonna be 62 this year, and I'm gonna be 41. And y'all
Oh.
seen Chris on the line, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I couldn't fathom not just based off of, yeah, not just physical attraction, because my parents are so much older. Men and some women between the ages of 40 and 70 something could get it, could be a good conversation, could be a good time. Because what raised me is my daddy put me, speaking of which, his birthday y'all gonna be Friday. He would have been 100 years old come April 10th
Oh,
this
wow.
Friday. So my daddy's 100th birthday. So interesting that y'all are talking about this because yes, conscious, you're absolutely right. Especially if we're going to do the whole patriarchal thing, because even with my mama dying when I was 6, and y'all probably have heard me tell this story, but just in case somebody else that's listening, I have older siblings at the time that was in their 30s that are well off, got good husbands. Hey, well, Mr. George, Isaac, that Louise then died, you heard me. So, if you want us to take Isaac for you, baby, we'll take him. But they said, oh no, no, fuck that. That's going to be my child. I brought him into this world. I'm not going to let him wonder why I wasn't there. I'm not going to let that be on me and my conscience or his conscience. Since if we're going to do patriarchy, fellas, because if you're going to superimpose us being the nurturer and the caregiver, fellas, and the lead, if you're going to play according to the playing field of that, black men, then I'm going to need you to exercise the other parts of this institutionalized patriarchy. And I don't like all of it, but that's the part that comes with it systematically. That I think that's where we have to and have a come to meeting. We have to have a come to meeting. And yes, trust and believe, baby, in my neighborhood in New Orleans, I seen plenty of single white mothers too, baby. I didn't see that many white single fathers either. Quiet as kept. So if we're gonna
Hello.
follow, if we're going to do When I tell fellas, this is for the fellas, ladies. This has nothing to do with y'all. What I'm saying right here. If you want to do the patriarchal traditional, then that means your woman should, if she, and I'm again, ladies, I know this ain't what you all want, but if you're gonna do it, then yes, you got to be the provider. You have to be the teacher. It's not just to provide money to be a father in patriarchy and paternalism. It's not just for you to be an income. You're supposed to pass on skills, family history, characterization. You are absolutely right. Whoever said that, yes, as a little boy, you damn right. It doesn't matter queer or not. I am just like my dad. I'm just like my dad. Just queer and loud as fuck. He was more smooth and cold calculated. But I'm just like my daddy in those decisions. So
Mm.
yes, fellas, I'm gonna need you to go ahead. If we're going to, if us black men, if we're gonna say we're men, and this is, and we want to measure up to the white man when it comes to entertainment and all these exorbitant things. How about just being like the family off of Roseanne, bitch? How about we just work on just being average, regular, everyday Americans first? Let's try that before you need to think you're a pimp, a king, or a god. Let's try just being human for 500, Alex.
They
It's
need
So,
going that way
they need to
yeah,
have the for it.
in the
yeah.
90s.
So,
And then
See,
yeah. So, fellas, yeah, we do need to. You can't. I have a very strong reaction. Yes, as a person, I understand. That's why I don't let these fellas when they talk to me, they think, yeah, I was the dad's boy, but I'll be damned if I let who my father was, you fuck niggas, stand on his shoulders as if he is the representative of all you and your fuckery. I'm not, no, nigga. That's called legacy. That's something tangible that I can't let you fuck niggas attach yourself to, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Yeah. Because this shit has really severely handicapped men's community, and even though men are living the ill effects and side effects of the world they've helped to co-create, like they still act stupid about what the solution is, and so they deflect to blaming women for everything. They deflect to blaming the LGBT for everything. They deflect to blaming the white man for everything. And yes, everybody participates in the system. Everybody got a role in the system, but this data around the way that black men and black males are folding is so alarming. Like the statistics around how bad black men's mental health is, the rise of suicidal ideation, the rise of self-inflicted harm and crime and depression amongst black men, the lack of community that black men have, the fact that there's so much data and census now where we have insight into how most black men feel alone. They don't know how to create community with other men because men also bond over the dumbest shit. They don't bond in any meaningful way like women do, which is why women live longer and they oftentimes can see life even beyond having to center a man because they have women, they have community, they have legacy and meaningfulness and love still in their life, even if it's not hetero romance. But men largely don't have that because they don't even know how to bond over anything aside from sports and pussy, which is not meaningful male bonding. And I just want men to just take their fair share of particularly black men, because black men don't think they have onus in the creation of stimulation because it's the white man's world. Yeah, but then we emulated it. We copied and pasted and then created our own version of that shit amongst the black community. So we're part of the problem, and recognizing that as a problem and recognizing how it's directly harming us is important, because that's going to cause the reshaping of how we also raise young black men who have to grow up someday to be somebody's fiance, somebody's husband, somebody's best friend, somebody's trusted neighbor, somebody's trusted Uber driver. I mean, this shit is so bad now that they're offering women on rideshare apps the opportunity to have a female writer just so that
Mm-hmm.
it can block and stop some of this sexual assault that's taking place when men are behind the wheel of the car and have a female passenger. Like, this shit is insane and out of control. Like, men are completely outlandish. Completely
What happened to the
outlandish.
Elks Lodge? Y'all need to bring back the Elks Lodge so y'all can bond properly.
What's that?
Because that was me. I feel
Mhm.
like there's way too much commingling, honestly, between the sexes. Because I feel like things were
You want
different
to
when
see some segregation. Fuck all this co-ed shit. Men over here, women over there.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I mean, hey, we got to bring back some of that.
But then they gonna get mad at the indirect and direct homoerotica that's gonna happen between the men.
No, I don't
That's
think it's the.
I know what you mean, but I'm just saying it's kind of like it's kind of I would back in the day we could do it, but now that we got the bag and the cat is all the way fucking exposed, I think that would be something. I don't know, will that go the same way? The only way that would work when you say when we all, including myself, I always consider when we say that things work. Okay, it worked back in the day because there was another system and another set of respectability politics, excuse me, that allowed that to work. That where it was unfair or disenfranchised into another group within a group. So some of those things only work because you were just in a much more oppressed situation, and that's why those things work. Now that we have a little bit more bit freedom of expression, I don't. I can always see that it would be some separation because we have it already now. Not so much by just because of I mean, I would say sexuality and stuff like that, but by race, we already would have that. I would think that it would be better for us to have healthier interactions in co-ed, like the co-ed, it needs to be taught from a more respectable and honest perspective. I don't think we necessarily need to not be closer to each other. I think the way that we are programmed and our perspectives are shaped with one another needs to change.
Yeah, that we have to have healthier ways of engaging and interacting, and to your point, existing together, because that's really the real formula. Because the reality is that the carriage is already ahead of the horse. We live in a
Yeah,
co-ed society, so now we just need to really figure out how to make that mutually safe and resourceful
we can't
for
reinvent the
all
wheel.
parties. We have to really bring it into this idea of raising of raising boys but parenting girls. Like, this shit is leading to a social deficit, and it's leading to uh the development of childhood narcissism that turns into adult narcissism. Like, we're literally setting up a particular gender to be narcissistic, and then setting up the other sex to be the psychotic victims of that of that cultural psychosis from the narcissism. Like, we are at a deficit right now in our society. We cannot survive this. We won't survive it. Literally, like, we are imploding, which is why the femicide rates are high. Everything is through the motherfucking roof. And then we have an administration that's completely playing off of the stress and the division and the patriarchy of it and the bullshit of it. I mean, it's a shit show right now. We have a grave opportunity to pull a reverse Uno so that the Aaliyahs never happen again, so that the Brandys never happen again, so that the Justin Biebers never happen again. But we're going to have to take some real fucking ownership to get ourselves out of this fuckery that our forefathers and their forefathers and their forefathers ultimately paved the way for. Because bowing down to the system, kneeling to the fucking system, has all led to the compromising of our values and our communal solidarity. So men gonna have to get up in this shit, and men have to change. It just doesn't make any logical sense for everybody else to have to figure out how to fucking survive men. Like, it's just burdensome, and it's unnecessary, and You just can't understand that you've that you contributed to a community's deficit in a profound way, and then also blame that same community for 100% of their own fucking problems. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Maleness and male ideology has to shift, and the divine feminine is trying to get our attention and bring it upon this shift and the elevation of the feminine principle and feminine consciousness in the world. But there's also a lot of nuck and bucking and resistance obviously happening because, you know, people are comfortable in the system to some degree. People benefit from this system, but the system is killing us. There's almost no fucking redeeming quality and definitely nothing worth holding on to, even if there are a few short-lived privileges and victories that people are having within the way that the system is. And I just feel sorry for women in particularly, and I feel sorry for the feminine principle in general. But the feminine principle participates too. You know, it's all unconscious and it's all just right now. America to me looks like a mental asylum where the patients of where the doors of the asylum to the patients like rooms are all open and the patients are running the hallways butt naked in their fucking straight jackets and there's no fucking order in the asylum. That's what America looks like to me. Huh?
I said, and there's no monitors or nurses or medications.
Yeah, it's just unmedicated psychopaths running freely, girl, through the halls of the asylum.
Burned
That's
all.
why.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, y'all hear me say it all the time.
That made me think of not the
I be feeling like
but with everything
that's
that was said
that's why I
America
be
about the
the
teenage
problem.
boys in a lot of neighborhoods, like let's say Chirac for example, that say
right.
they have no out. Like there's no place to go. So the only place they had to bond was on the streets with a bunch of,
Yeah.
gangbangers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's basically why I said like we do need not all. There shouldn't be. There needs to be a blend, of course, but there needs to be more clubs and things like that. We had like that where we could bond with each other, especially the ones with some sense, and have something good going on. Because they have no options. Where are they supposed to go?
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have to, and I think that we're going to have to gatekeep the culture a lot more because, to Divine's point earlier, like the culture has a lot to do with influence and perception and influencing the way people behave. I think that we allowed a lot of bad content to be platformed at a higher level while allowing healthier content to be deplatformed and sit at the bottom of that totem pole. I think that we got to reverse Uno that. I'm not so much of a square that I think that bad content shouldn't exist. I think that Fight TV should exist. I think that Zeus should exist. I think that pussy popping, drug selling, kill that whole, stab that whole, beat that whole music should exist. But I also am mature enough and understand sociology enough to know that that shit should not be pedestalized. It should be in fringe categories, yet still available. It should be available for consumption, but should not be the tropes of our society. And so having the wrong messaging centering our culture is also like leading to this hysteria that we are experiencing. We just have the wrong shit at the forefront. We have the wrong people at the forefront. And this is creating a deficit even in parenting because there's a lot of parents who feel like they're not enough now. Like it doesn't matter how the fuck I'm raising my children. The culture is more powerful than the little, control that I'm trying to have, in my child's life. What does that matter when they go out into the world? There's a complete and utterly polarizingly different set of values that are being upheld and encouraged, and so a lot of parents feel almost helpless because they don't have the assistance once upon a time of the culture, which used to work congruently to cultural values in a general sense, but now not so much. And so we have a lot of work to do. Like the work, like the field is plentiful. The laborers might be few, but we got a lot of work to do.
And I like, this morning, like, you were speaking of your content earlier, concerning,
At
Miss
one
Jordan and
point, like in the 90s, maybe I'm
Uh,
hello.
bugging, but there was in the 90s, there seemed to
Can
be
y'all hear me?
a glimmer of hope when it
Hudson,
came to like the nuclear black family. We had
Hudson.
the sitcoms. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear IG?
Can y'all hear me?
Oh no, let me go on mute. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Elijah.
I can hear
You
you.
can hear IG?
Oh, no, yeah, because my earpiece be tripping. What was I saying? Oh God.
Talking about the content that was being referred to.
Oh yeah, to the concept. I just find it interesting that the
I can't
content.
hear her. Can you
Oh,
hear her?
Yeah, I can hear him.
oh, you
Uh,
can't hear IG, Hudson?
yeah, I could catch that
Hudson.
one of y'all can't
Hold
hear
on,
me.
IG. You can't hear him, Hudson?
Not at all.
No. Oh, you might have to
Oh,
drop down and come back up. I'm gonna drop the link
if
for you to drop down and come back up. Like you might have to reconnect because
Okay,
she
thank
might
you,
be
boo.
tripping. Okay, I
I,
just dropped the link for Hudson, so she'll be back up. Go ahead,
yeah,
IG.
yeah, no, I just it's so interesting because when you were talking about having a gatekeep, especially with how we filter how we deal with celebrities.
Yeah.
And I guess, even when we were having the whole political conversation, that's why I noticed I was so when it comes to using people, I guess, to get people to come out. But there's a difference when you're letting that be the voice culture for your politics. Because celebrities, even in these instances, right, even when it comes to the morality thing, we should not be using them as the barrage or the compass or the measurement of who we are as Black people. And I think that that's the thing that kind of does happen. And I have a very big issue with it when it comes into, yes, it comes into spaces like this when we have these conversations. That's why I don't have the issue. But just like you could see, even what happened with Miss Jordan, the same thing happens when we involve Black people in our politics or when we just allow them, even if they're Black American and ADOS and all that shit, right? Even if they're part of the lineage of all of that there's a consequence because by class and because of aspirationalism, there's a separation there. And the only reason why it's a very double entendre, they're even in that position because we the people who go and work day in and day out and keep this country moving, especially for Black celebrities, we're the reason why you have the status often that you have and the support that you have. So it's a disservice when we give celebrities the praise and you represent me when it comes to culture and arts and stuff like that. That's fine. But then and you idolize them. But then and you're the one that's putting money in the pocket. But then you don't hold them to the same accountability and standard when it comes to discussing your politics, when it comes to discussing other things, where perhaps, girl, maybe you shouldn't speak for me as it regards to this. So I just love how the concept from earlier and allyship and all of those things and who we look up to through the decadent veil is coming down, which I'm so happy about that now we're starting to see all of these people that we held in these high regards because of simply their class and that represented. But that's the trap, and I'm gonna be quiet. They only represented it for the astronomical. But see, that's not the majority of Black America. We need it to be more like Roseanne than Fresh Prince of Bel Air. We need to be more like Family Matters than Empire. And there's a reason why they only promote us in sports and entertainment, and we have no influence nowhere else. Influence and power is not the same thing.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, and you're right. And that's also what I be talking about. Like, there's nothing happening within our system that is not without intention. It is not. It's not that this is just like lightning striking, and this is just the end result. Like, this shit is being intentionally curated, controlled, and structured to bring about the cognitive dissonance that the culture be suffering from. The ignorance that we suffer from, the false gods that we look to inappropriately, because to IG's point, we should not be looking to our celebrities for our politics not even for our philosophies or our so-called values, but we do. And the gatekeepers of the system ensure that that dependency is there. And when I talk about us having to get up under this shit, I mean, we got to get in this shit. We really got to get in this shit. I mean, we've almost kind of fell for all the mouse traps, all the boogie traps. We've almost felt bitch for all of it. We've almost done all of it wrong. I mean, so this collective ego death is definitely fucking necessary because we've been in the wrong direction fast and very passionately at that. And you know, me and Reckless was talking about this last night because Reckless is motherfucking mad at the motherfucking FBA and the ADOS, baby. And he like, fuck them motherfucking niggas, fuck they asses, they out here and they voted for this bullshit. And we was having this conversation, and I said, you know what? I don't have a problem with the strategy because I understand that the system needs to come down. I understand that we way too far gone at this point. It's going to take something catastrophic in order to reverse Uno this shit. And I get why ushering in Trump could act as the brick wall to kind of wake it up, to wake Black Americans up. I said, but the issue is that there was no preparation upon the people for the impact of that. So we more so just feel like a community that's been thrown out to sea with life vests because the community was not groomed and informed and preparated and understood this was an opportunity and had been intentionally preparing for the destruction of this version of the system. When we saw the complete opposite on white America side, them bitches had a Project 2025. This shit been in works for decades. There had been intentional strategizing, triangulating, and there had been a meticulous and methodical approach to how to center themselves finally and once and for all. And that's the big piece that I feel like Adolf and FBA kind of left out. It's like, yes, I understand the opportunity, but
can I give you some?
We unfortunately were not fucking ready, and that.
But I want to give some nuance. Because it's not your fault. Everybody does this. They say ADOS and or FBA. These are two distinguishable different organizations. That's what I'm saying. Okay, FBA, it's kind of like what happened with the Target boycott, right? Tamika, what's her name? The black woman out there in Milwaukee or Minnesota, who was the starter of the original Target boycott, who spread it online, the Target headquarters. But yet it was co-opted because when the others reached out, like Jamal Brown and the Boule black people, they reached out to her. And see what happened. The reason why you hear FBA, don't take my word for it. The reason why you hear FBA, because before there was an organization, Yvette Cornell was like, yes, Black American, but every single personality, yeah, I'm connected with everybody. But see what the niggas did, they turned around like Tariq Nasheed, Black Red Pillow. What he did was gripped it and just said, "Oh, it's a lineage. We've been saying it's a lineage, but I'm gonna break off. I'm gonna take the Facebook following, and I'm gonna call this thing FBA." There's no politics. So everyone who's talking about FBA don't belong to ADOS.org. Nobody in ADOS voted for Trump. Nobody. As a matter of fact, that's a fallacy. Because if you want to look at the numbers, please look at the exit votes. Baby, you got to be mad at them spicy whites. Those brown people who have a Latin Hispanic, which is a European culture that you're in a fucking coalition with, who has always voted against you and has always been more anti-black. They've always voted against you and your interests. So we as the Black Americans, because we don't come from different countries, We voted, sweetheart, the same outcome that we did. So how do we then turn around and say, baby, if everybody would have voted like Black America, bitch, we wouldn't have had Trump. If you would have voted like Black America, we wouldn't have had Trump.
That's not necessarily true. A lot
By
didn't vote.
numbers, by
Enough did
numbers,
not vote.
no. If you had the people of color that we're in a coalition with me, listen to what I'm saying. Don't put the blame on black people. I'm talking about the people who voted. You had more people swing in the left from the Latino Hispanic community and the white community. Our vote stayed consistently. So if they would have voted the same people that we're in a coalition with, the black brown bullshit coalition that never existed, if they would have voted like Black Americans who voted at a staggering 87 to 92%, check
Mhm.
out the numbers of how, okay, so why didn't everybody else vote at 80? Why are we not talking about the Hispanic community who voted 54%? Huh? Why are we not talking about white women? See, we're doing this thing where we're taught as we've been programmed. It's amazing how we look at as Black Americans like we're supposed to be the saviors, and as if we hold an elitist position in this country when it comes to people of color. But then when we vote in opposition of that, you then try to come try to say we don't have no culture. Baby, we gave America culture. We gave you civil rights. We gave you human rights. And people immigrated to this motherfucker and voted against it. We gave
I bet you
America
still mostly
civil
Democrat. You
rights.
do know that, right?
Democrat is a problem. I'm not
I
saying
I know.
yeah, I'm not praising Democrats, but I have to deal more with the Democrats because I have more leverage with them. We don't have a
Mhm.
long-standing vote. We don't have a home-based vote with the Republican on the right. And don't you find that interesting as a Black American before everybody immigrated here in 1965? Don't you find it interesting that we're the base of the party, but there's nothing specifically done?
I feel
How
like the
could that
Democrats
be?
give us a bucket of rice for a bag full of diamonds, and
Mm.
I would rather be disrespected to my face than behind my back. Basically, they're a bunch
Yeah.
of liars, thieves, manipulators, and I don't want their crumbs. I'd rather be basically removed from the table and figure out how to get it myself.
Yeah, I mean, but that's individualism, and that's how we get here, though. That's the thing. It's like, okay, the Democratic Party that we're talking about. I'm not just trying to turn everything political, but I'm just saying it's like there's this. We have been our own worst enemies. The reason why that you have the separation between a bunch FBA's voice is louder. You know why FBA voice is louder? Oh, because they didn't have the censoring like people of Joy Reid and people from the left and from the media putting out straight up lies about ADOS coming against us. This was censored from you. This was kept from you by people in the left. This was kept from Black Americans. This movement that been going on for 10 years that saw everything coming down the pipeline. This was intentionally kept from you, sweetheart, from people in within the party. But my point is the reason why you don't know about that because there's always a nigga who gonna play step and fetch. There's always somebody who gonna come here and put COINTELPRO. Now, if Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore was no shade to nobody, but if they were more sensational and talking about selling people shit and they were more on the media bullshit instead of data, numbers, books, facts, statistics, instead of doing that, because that's what you need for your politics. That's what you need. But because Tariq Nasheed has a huge following with a bunch of Hebrew Israelite, Pan Africanist, nationally confused bitches, the loudest media sensation, who you think gonna have the louder voice? FBA has the louder voice, not because they're right, they have the influence. And their influence in the thought of sensationalism. They have no politics. There is no FBA organization. There's only ADOS.org. So ADOS is not the same as FBA. That's all I'm saying. So yes, we did prepare people. Nobody was listening. because we were so busy listening to FBA. We were so busy listening. And again, I'm not shooting darts at people. This is what has been propagandized to you. You didn't come up with this program to present this to you. This has been programmed to you by the Democratic Party, by the racist leftists, by the racist white liberals. This is why you have been programmed to think that. It is not ye have we have made ourselves. Go, let us make man in our image. Bitch, that's a man thing, sweetheart. You can think it's a God if you want to. I'ma shut the fuck up.
Oh, you said a word. Drops mic.
So what y'all gonna do about all that?
That was me.
Speechless.
I'm like Brandy and the FBA now.
Like, who finna follow up? Conscious, you there?
Melvin.
He said a word, honey. That was a word. He said everything. Shout out to IG. Hit that hookah for me. Shit.
We ain't never getting out of this shit. Hope y'all know that.
Wine bottle.
I love y'all. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to get preachy, but no, don't
No,
be
we love it. Keep going.
Don't be pessimistic, y'all, because people like you, Conscious. No, tribalism is, but here's the thing too, right? The thing about existence and my philosophy, and you don't have to take it, and I said it at the end, you only have true existence when you recognize differences. In a society, it's supposed to be a collection of differences coming to certain points or agenda of what rules and standards are. Every group in society and tribal has that, right? Okay. So it doesn't mean when you have this information, you know what I'm saying? Yes, that just means now that you recognize your tribe and how you compartmentalize things is now sharper. You can now recognize certain things down the pipeline that again have been thrown in your face for you not to pay attention. I was not a political bitch 10 years ago. That what I'm expressing to you, I was just like everybody else in that aspect. But life had to whoop for me. Life whooped my ass to where, see, ignorance is blissful, but it also can lead to misinformed, very bad decisions. Right? And ignorance and consequence doesn't give a fuck about you not knowing. So I'm not saying this from a place of being judgmental always. No, I'm still paying the price for being apolitical 10 years ago. I'm still paying the consequence for it right now. I'm walking it out right now. So it's now that, but now that you know, right? It's now that you know what's, because I'm so sick of us being able to say, oh, well, this is what's done in institution. That's dumb. That's insanity. I'm sorry. You're trying to tell me that you can prove that history happened and give details, but yet you can't prevent the motherfucker from happening again? What the fuck? What do you mean? That's insanity for you to do the same thing over and over again. So, yes, it's unfortunate that, but it's for a reason. And yes, I'm gonna say this. I gotta shut the fuck up. Black Americans, Americans descended of slavery. Don't let no motherfucker tell you you don't have no culture. You got culture more than motherfucking music and entertainment and arts. Bitch, you understand that you were enslaved in one of the most powerful world governments, and you overturned legislation, government. You overturned, you made it more palatable, and it's no shame, but let me just read for a second. There's a reason why we're not going to people of colors. There isn't this mass exodus of Black Americans wanting to immigrate to everybody else's country who come here and say we don't have a culture. Bitch, how dare you? No, our culture is democracy. Our culture is human rights. That's our culture, sweetheart. Not just sitting there with fucking, and yes, I'm a musician and I sing, but god damn it, I'll be damned if I'm only known to be someone's fucking entertainer. Hell no. Hell no. That's not a flex that you are a buck on the field, but you have no power in the delegation of the sport. It's not a flex.
Ooh, ooh. That's a
Beyonce,
oh Lord.
Beyonce, and
I can't hear him.
Jay-Z have less power than the white farmers who plant the potatoes for McDonald's in southern states, bitch. Your black celebrities have less power than the white farmers in the United
Is it
States.
just me? Because I don't hear him.
Why everybody keep saying that? Hudson, y'all can't hear this man. I'm the only one that can hear him. Maybe it's my message. Maybe it's a personal message for me. Maybe this is a personal message that I can receive.
IE network. You can't hear IG.
I can hear y'all, but that means I
I
need
don't
to
hear
be
him.
quiet. That means somebody. But
You
I'm
don't
just
hear him?
saying. I can hear him. Who said you don't hear me?
Yeah, because this is the second person who couldn't hear IG because Hudson had to
But
go
I
out and come back in.
The
But
system's trying to block a bitch.
um,
IG
But I'm gonna be.
hard.
it's the man. Hold on. IE, could you drop down and hit the link again and see if it'll reconnect you to everybody on the panel?
Run the lights up. We gotta spread the word.
Yeah,
Can you hear me, IE?
yeah,
Or we get shut down on this motherfucker.
yeah.
He can't hear me.
Maybe I
But
gotta
he
come
add
out
me
and
if
come
he
back in
can.
because I don't even hear Conscious talking.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Hold on.
Hudson, what in New York you from?
Come back
yeah.
up.
But yeah, there's a serious bait and switch, y'all. And again, this is no fault of our own. See, that's
Mhm.
the thing too. It's funny how we let other people come here and immigrate here, and they're the victims. Sweetheart, if the government took care of me, like he takes care of you, family, child, not just the mother. See, honey, that's an American thing. Even I wish if you think if black Americans, if we could go to another country and don't have to speak the language, and we're talking about working class, bitch, I'm talking about entry level. Do you think most black Americans impoverished wouldn't have been immigrated to another country if those other countries had the infrastructure that we fucking built? No, we would do the same thing. We would be doing the same thing. So yes, I just want to say that yes, you American descendant of slavery, and most of these niggas who speak in the Latin language, if you speak in Spanish, French, or Dutch, bitch, most of your culture is fucking European. Let's stop this. Spanish is a Latin language. French is a Latin language. If your culture is more Romanian and Catholicized, sweetheart, you have a mixed, colonized culture just like I do, bitch. So how you gonna come here and say that, oh, your white European culture is better than mine because you speak Spanish? No, that's not how that works, bitch. I have a culture. You're coming here to immigrate, and then you're coming here to stand on the ancestors. I don't stand on your ancestors' back and come get what the fuck was what you got. I don't stand on Haitians' back and say, oh yeah, what happened in 1804 is for me. No, bitch, that's for you. I don't go to New York when the Caribbeans are having Labor Day and talk about Black Americans. What about Black Americans? But baby, when it comes to us, because here's the karmatic part, and I'm a bitch who don't believe in most spiritual shit. But you know what's ironic? When it was just happening to black Americans, white people and black people of color didn't care. What Republicans didn't care, Democrats didn't care, because people who believe in that bullshit ass Bible, what you do to the least of these, bitch. And when it comes to Black Americans, we are the ones that made it the cat's meow, sweetheart, for you to be here. So you, all of y'all didn't care when the policies didn't affect you. It only affected us. Well, ain't karma's a bitch? Because when you
Mhm.
forgot to take care of us, who gave you democracy, when you shitted on us, bitch, you shitted on America.
You shit on you.
You shitted on you when you shitted on us. So yes, do I didn't vote for Trump. I voted Democratic down ballot because I have dealings with the party. That's stupid. It makes no sense. I have no reason to just go to the right. You have nothing to leverage or offer me. So I have to play the key. So this election, I'm not telling you how to vote, but just know this is the reason why they just do what they do to you black people, because you're just taught and propagandized by your so-called leaders to go out there and not leverage a damn thing. And guess what, bitch? If there is somebody on the right that's local and that's willing to talk and do right by our people, I will
Mhm.
vote for that motherfucker. What are you talking
IG,
about?
IG, you want to
Right,
hear
but they
something
got get to show
crazy?
proof.
You want to hear something crazy? I
Yeah.
listened to these two Indian boys from India, brown skin, darker than us African Americans, whatever you want to call us, the niggas here. Uh,
Uh-huh.
they were joking about how they shaved their head and took all the black scholarships and grants for Yale. And like they were just sitting there, nobody was taking them, so we just saved our head and said that we were Black Americans, and they just thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, look at this BS here, and our people won't
What?
even go to a city hall meeting. They don't even know what's good out there for us. They just sit around complaining.
Right, and you got your
They
NAAC
give
people.
away
It
scholarship
ain't just it
giveaways.
ain't just the ghetto. It ain't just the ghetto. Like I'm saying, the people we should have the heat for. It ain't just Pookie and Ray Ray. No, 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 no. There are a lot of very well college educated, well paid motherfuckers that you should have smoke for. There are a lot of people who've traveled the world who
Goulet.
have way more degrees than us.
Umar.
Hmm.
There's way more, but so yeah, why they trying to why and that's propaganda too. Yeah, you're gonna look at the symptom and the lowest part of the symptoms, but bitch, you're the one that's sitting in those rooms and making those deals. And that's why, yes, a bitch that is of a certain class within your race. Because see, it works outside your race. It goes without saying. But yes, I hope this is a lesson for us from now on. Yes,
A big
bitch,
us.
class
We need
within
to
your
just
race
start. We
class
need to just
within
start
your
with
race
going
will
to
make
our
a
city hall
difference.
meetings.
Hmm.
That's it. We need to start with just going to our city hall meetings. That would be a great step to take, because then you can actually see what's going on and what's available and what bills are trying to be passed and stuff like that. Even if you feel like you can't do nothing now, it shouldn't be a reason why all the city hall meetings and the town hall meetings don't have none of the faces in there that look like me. Nowadays they broadcast them on YouTube. You should at least know what's going on around your area.
Yeah,
That to me is a big hindrance.
I agree. Those great talking points. I want to get IE Network up in here too. Hey, IE Network.
What's up, Cons? What's up, man?
What's
Thanks for
going on, my man?
having me on.
I think that you was definitely like probably you were definitely like in the beginning of the live stream in the chat because I think you
Yeah,
were
yeah. I'm
speaking
sorry
on.
about that. I was,
I
I
know you
wanted to
good.
make sure I caught
Yeah,
up, but just wanted to tap in on the whole Brandy situation.
yeah,
I also think that, and listen to some of the people that was on the panel that said,
yeah.
well, when I was younger, I dated up. I think it's a generational thing as well because
Mhm.
number one, if you look all over YouTube, all you see is Gen X videos about we the generation who raised ourselves, right? So when I was in high school in early '90s or whatever, that was most of the high school boys. That was our issue. Like, man, all the hot girls, they all got the dudes 24, 25,
Mhm.
26. Like, and they come into the school picking up the 16 and 17-year-old, the juniors and seniors, and that was their man. I mean, see, like the girls in high school, junior and senior high school, they boyfriends was out of school, right?
Mhm.
So, and back then, at that during that time, most of their parents knew about it.
Yeah.
Most of their parents knew they dated older dudes,
Mhm.
right? And that's just what it was. I mean, I think I heard Nia Long say when she was 18, her boyfriend was 30.
Mhm.
And when she said when she was in high school, her boyfriend was 30.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, and then you throw Hollywood into the mix,
Yeah.
and this has been going on. You can go back on YouTube and go look at Shirley Temple, 8, 9 years old, and she's sitting on grown men lap.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? So
That's
and
right.
and singing songs, and she even tells stories about how she would get dropped off at old men. And ironically, my grandfather, God bless the dead, he used to drive for Shirley Temple.
Mhm.
So um he would used to tell us stories about how he would drop her off at producers home, grown men. He would be
Mhm.
dropping her off there at producer's house, right?
Yep, they're a
So
bunch of weirdos still to this day. Ain't nothing changed.
yep. And the funny thing is, Do y'all remember? I'm sure y'all remember the movie Belly,
Yep.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
and and the scene where she's like, "Oh, I've been sucking his D since 14. I'm 16, but I'm sucking," and
Vita.
nobody said nothing. Like
That was
nobody
Vita.
said nothing about that scene. Now they'll watch it now and be like, "Oh, that's creepy." But like I said, that was that time. During that time, it was and during the time that Brandy is dating this dude, and Brandy was dating Fredro, and there was a whole bunch of especially celebrities. I mean, Drew Barrymore was 12 years old inside Studio 54. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Hollywood, it's more amplified. But in the hood, like girl, 17-year-olds was dating 24-year-old drug dealers, 25-year-old drug dealers. You know, they come into the school, they driving they whip to school the next day. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, man, it's much more normalized back then. So now people look at it like, oh, that's crazy, um, such a big age gap. I'm telling you, man, it's way more normal then than you think. A lot of people was dating up. A
Oh,
lot of
absolutely.
girls
It was a
was,
Consciouztv member in the chat earlier who was saying that like when she was coming up, the big thing for girls, especially the girls in high school, was like, a lot of them had, like boyfriends who were in the military, boyfriends
yeah,
who were in the Navy, like the big
yeah.
thing was having, having a man who was secured. And that kind of plays off of that old saying that we've heard echoed throughout the generations, particularly toward the women, when they like, find you a man who can do something for you, a man who got
Hmm.
something, a man who, keyword, a man, a
Right.
man, a man, a man, MAEN, a man. Uh, so to that point, i.e., what would you? So I mean, so what do we do? Like with this, I mean, there are people who feel like, oh, we like this generation, we're overreacting to things. It was normal then. So I mean, so how do we put it into perspective then? If we are a different culture who are intending to do it differently, and we're reflecting upon yesteryear and being like, yeah, some of that shit was deeply problematic and
Mhm.
crazy. Like, what I mean, what do we do? Do you
I mean,
do you think, first of all, do you think it was a problem?
for back then, no. For now, I think if it happened now, yeah, because like I said, things are different. It wasn't a problem calling. It wasn't a problem saying, "Yo, I spazzed out in the '90s," but it's a problem now. So my thing is, if you want to change, if you want to go forward and change the age limit now, cool. I mean, I haven't really have no issue with it. I mean, if they want to say, um,
How would you feel if your 16-year-old came home with a 22-year-old?
at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
today, I would
Mm-hmm.
be upset. You know what I mean? But again,
And why
um,
would you be upset? Like, what would be the reason for you being upset?
I would feel as though
Mm-hmm.
someone 22 is too old for her being 16. Now, I do feel as though 18, 19, you should be allowed to make your own decision
Mm-hmm.
whether you're going to be intimate with someone or date someone older. I feel as though at the point of your age, and it's not even really age with me, like it's really mentality with me, because my sister grew up. My sister, God bless her, that she grew up in that era, whatever. And my mother always told her back then, listen, you men are going to do what men do, but at the end of the day, you are the one, unless they grape you, you are the one with the last decision. You're gonna be the one to decide whether you're gonna open your legs up to a man or not. So unless they overpower you or grape you, whatever, my mother used to tell my sister, I'm not I'm not giving you no out. I'm not giving you no out with age. If you go and lay down with an older man, and if he didn't um grape you, overpower you, I'm not giving you an out with I was manipulated, I was tricked, I was just that's how my mother was. My mother said she's not giving no out to my sister. And you know, ironically, my sister never got pregnant by no, she never dated older men. Like she dated regular, like dated guys her age. I think like her oldest boyfriend was like 2 years older than her, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she was in high school, when she was 17. I think that's when she first started dating. She was 17. I think her boyfriend was like 19 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like I said, things change. You know, look at the trafficking thing. Oh, if you fly a woman out, now it's trafficking. It was not trafficking 20 years ago. You know what I mean? If you fly a girl out
It
and
was.
oh
It's
me
just that we didn't know the laws and there was no
right,
social media. It was.
right.
Trust me,
Well
it was.
meet me in Miami. You know what I mean? Or so and so meet me in Miami. So now you can't do that now. You know what I mean? It's if you found out, well, you seen with Puffy. If you're found out, um, they can consider it trafficking. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so again, I don't really have an issue. Me, I'm Gen X, but I have a Gen Alpha daughter. I raised my daughter how my parents raised me. Like my daughter don't even listen to the radio. She like all her music is she's 80s. She's the 80s fan music.
Mm-hmm.
She's I bring my daughter up the way my parents brought me up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that's but so now I wouldn't have an issue if they raise the age or say, but you know what, Con, is it really like one of the panelists said, you know, girls or whatever, if they say, oh, the age is gonna be raised to 18, if a girl wants to go out there and sleep with somebody, they ain't gonna give a damn about what that age say, or about what that age limit says. You know what I mean? So um the age of accountability again, because I remember wasn't years ago it was 18 and then they started dipping the age down. Like I could have sworn most of the places was 18 growing up. That's what I used to remember. But then you're talking about now it's some states is 16. I think some states is even 15.
No, I
Yeah,
think no. It it caps at 16, I
It
think.
is, but they
16.
can still charge them federally. That's the thing people don't know.
Mhm.
Locally, they can't be charged, but federally, they can still, because
Oh,
federally is
right,
still
right.
18. But they will fight that. I mean, you got the right lawyers. You know, nothing matters. Nothing's guilty until your lawyers get through with it.
Right.
So you could be
Yeah.
trafficking and a predator, but if your lawyers can fight it, like
and,
who's
and, and
like, what can you say?
and that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. When the people who make the laws, when this is their moral compass. This is the reason why reparations was denied here in the United States recently. They asked other countries, and of course, the United States, bitch asses response, and I think it was Hungary, is another two countries, and they said because it was legal and lawful.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So just because things are legal and lawful, that's what that's when you're in a society where a 1% majority is often choosing what is the morale and the standard for the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's you're going to kind of run into that paradigm. And so far it was, with Brandy and her specifically, this is the thing now. I'm kind of like, okay, because if me as the same gender loving man, right? If these substances were both male, 16 and 21, 22, I'm sure because of that, they would be wanting to make it like this perverted thing. But I can sit here and also be honest to the brother's point, regardless of sex or gender, there are going to be some 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are going to cosplay maturity and deceive the older person and do X, Y, Z, and
Yeah.
they're the pursuer.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
because I'm niggas. That's me. You heard me? Look, I
Right.
mean, I'm very mature because naturally, man, I was looking for at yes, 16, 17, 18. I wanted the 30, 20 something, 40
Right.
year old. You heard me? That's what I wanted. And I don't know daddy no shit. I'm a single dad boy, you feel me? So the maturity that why I wanted that older man had nothing to do with no fatherhood or no paternal issues. What I wanted to do with that grown ass man had nothing to do with fatherhood.
Right.
Absolutely nothing to do with fatherhood. I
And it's
wasn't searching.
subjective. That whole maturity thing
Yeah.
is subjective. That's what
It
I don't
is. It's
understand.
subjective. No, I do agree. I do agree. It is subjective. So that's why at that age we ain't. And I'm not trying to be like that, but I kind of have to be like that. I mean, 16. Uh, uh, you gonna do some shit. Even if it's somebody you gonna experiment with somebody that's available. You gonna that person might happen to be your same age. That person might be older. Uh, That's why I can't really. And then you have the age. It's not a gross age yet. Oh, because from 16 to 21, 22, yeah, he might be old enough to drink, but I'm still looking at it like both of you niggas frontal lobe ain't fucking fully developed yet. Y'all not 25. Neither one of you are 25. And you still in that young age. They're not, there is a 6 year difference, but it's just like I can't, both parties were definitely
The
held
same
accountable.
difference, IG, that is between her
Yeah,
parents. Between her parents. Her parents are 5 years apart. That's
yeah.
interesting.
So that's why
Right.
I
Mhm.
can't really
Right.
look at why I can't look at yes, I mean what he said, but I can't really look at him as just, oh my God, you just so gross. Now if the nigga was in his 30s, if he was in his late 20s, yeah, that's a different type of conversation because you are clearly past the young adult stage. But when you still in your early like 21, 22, yeah, you still nigga in that young adult mind
So
frame,
I
your
agree.
And
body's
I don't
thick.
think he made his case any better too. The way
He
he
made
kind
it
of
worse
like,
being
Yeah, like
like
so
she
yeah,
was
just
old enough
the
to get
way,
it. You know,
just the way
I
he
was a little
framed it.
yeah,
disappointed with that.
Yeah, like she older. It was like,
that was
you
gross.
Yeah,
there's
I
already
was a
an
little
age gap
disappointed with
there,
that.
and on top of
The
that,
way he handled that.
Yeah, he
you
could have
it,
articulated that much better. I was very disgusted with him with that. I was like, bruh, you didn't have to. But again, the pressure of, but here's the thing about patriarchy now. Hey, bro, it's legal. You heard me? Hey, bro, that's all I need to look. And I'm about to read. He a black man. Only thing a black man fears more than anybody else is the white man's loss and retaliation. So as long as Zaddy says it's okay, just like Zaddy says it's okay for you to be a Christian, and Zaddy says it's okay for you to do this and that,
IG,
because
you
you'll
there?
tell.
Is it me? Can y'all hear IG?
Hello?
Hello.
No.
Damn, man. I just
Oh,
want to.
I heard you.
Ooh. Can anybody hear? Oh, let me see.
I can hear
Can
you.
y'all hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
Went like glitched the fuck.
Yes.
Where the fuck is
Hey.
IE? Oh, IE done disappeared too. Let me see. I
Rashonda, can
think
you hear?
StreamYard. I think that StreamYard is acting a fool today. It's a
Okay, you
lot.
can hear.
I hear y'all.
Hey, Rashonda.
Hey.
Hey, Rashonda. Okay, here's. Hold on, IG already up here. See, I think it's StreamYard. It's. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this coordination together. Let me take down the other IG.
Yes,
StreamYard is doing
it's
the
tripping.
most. Oh my
It's on
god.
that dope. You heard me? It's on that dope.
This is a crack
Oh,
fiend.
OMG.
It's
Crack
on that
Hey,
fiend.
dope.
everybody. Hi,
Hey,
y'all.
Hey,
hey,
Rashonda.
IE
How
Network. Can you
doing?
put in the chat, boo? Hit the link. I don't know if you got dropped down accidentally, but I'm dropping a link for you again, IE Network. Hey, Rashonda. Hey, boo.
I know I hadn't been here in a minute. Y'all, I've been going
I
through,
did
but
have some
guess what? I'm
things going
still
on.
here.
Amen.
And guess what? My birthday is gonna be in a few weeks. I'm so happy, y'all. I love y'all. So,
Happy
happy
birthday.
Happy
birthday,
yeah.
baby.
birthday.
Y'all had the best day. Y'all don't understand. I had the best day. Nothing went wrong today. Nothing went wrong today.
I know that's
I'm
right.
so y'all just don't
Man,
know. I'm so happy.
that's a blessing. Yes, a good day.
I
Everything
love
flowed.
y'all so much. I really do. And I
Yeah,
just
you
want to
doing
say
good. You
thank
sound
you.
good.
I want to say thank y'all for over the years. I know I've been missing, but I've been trying to get myself together so I can get back and to do what I need to do. This time last two years ago, 2 months ago I was in the hospital.
Mhm.
So it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and I thank y'all for supporting me each day. Even when I'm not here, know that I'm my love is there for y'all in spirit.
I can't hear Rashonda, y'all. Like my StreamYard is really acting up on my
You were
end.
saying thank you
Can
She
and
y'all
that
said
hear
she
me?
love
I
love
can't.
you.
I
for
can't hear her.
Yeah, I
Can
can
y'all hear
hear
me?
her. I can
And
hear
she said
you.
thank you. He said you're welcome.
Can you hear me
Can y'all hear
now?
me though? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you,
no,
I
we
can
and I
hear
can
you.
hear her.
no, I can't hear you. Get off the chart. No, I'm playing.
You got the other
Child.
windows open?
Conscious, we can hear you.
But he
Yeah,
can't hear us.
StreamYard
Conscious,
acting a
you know we
fool.
can
I
hear
don't
you.
know
You the
what's
last
going
one.
on.
You know we can hear
Cause
you.
it's glitching and shit on my end. I don't know what's
You
going on.
you live, loud, and in color. We can hear you.
Yeah, but I can't. Okay, well I can
Yeah.
hear that. I can hear you like, but y'all come through pixelated and shit.
You
That's
know, it's
just,
been
There's something
that's
going
just
tripping
on with
like that.
StreamYard. There's something going on with StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tapping the
because
wires, y'all.
I'm watching the playback on the TV. It sounds decent on the TV.
Yeah,
So
no, it's just on my end. Like I wasn't having a struggle earlier, but
our
now
conscious have technical difficulties.
shit glitching up. But
Check it out, Divine.
The
What's
aliens are coming.
what's that?
The
Oh,
Pineapple
Express.
Express.
oh, okay. The Pineapple Express. Okay,
Yeah.
Is that liquid?
Okay.
you got
Ooh, I
that.
forgot it.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me. I got pineapples in the refrigerator.
Oh, okay, that's the bud, honey. That's the bud.
Yes,
That's my
honey.
favorite too.
I
Period.
haven't
Pineapples and
had none in
watermelon.
forever, you heard?
Mm.
Look, y'all lately been catching me like right, I got off the plantation at 4, I was there at
Hmm.
5:30. Y'all lately been catching me at the perfect time, you heard me? Because I be like, all right, y'all catch me when I'm about to unwind, have my little smoke. I'm
You
so I
go
love this.
10. You was
I
on
love
10. I saw you. I was like,
Oh,
what?
he stayed with a joint and some wine, child. A big old nice bottle of wine and a fat joint.
Man, because we get to talk, but no, because it's and I love this space. You feel me? It's like, and I appreciate Conscious for, yes, this shit takes energy and time, and I do appreciate him
It
for
do.
bringing us a
It
bit of
do.
like, in his
I
own,
appreciate y'all.
Right? He
you
really
know what
don't
I'm saying?
have that. Like, really bring us up here with our raggedy digs and stuff, looking hot ass mess
Yeah,
trap, spreading
yeah,
the
because
word gospel.
I
But you
love
know
that
who
it's
I
so.
want to ask IG about a Divine, right?
Uh huh.
Cause we've been talking about your boy the past few weeks, IG.
Say
Oh,
so.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've been loving it. That has been some good. I have enjoyed your content.
What
I was
are
like, I had.
oh, I've been on his ass.
See,
what are
I've
your
been on his.
what are your
What?
thoughts of him?
I've been on his. I was
I
on
know, but
his
that's why I'm
last
asking you because I didn't seen you on his panel before.
live, and I can tell, like, okay, that
Conscious, how
this
long you been on
six.
YouTube? It's been forever. We old.
11 years.
I've
Yeah,
been
we real old.
I've been doing YouTube probably for like what 8 years now,
No,
maybe.
you've been 10.
I think it's longer than that, yeah.
It been more than that.
It might
It
be
been
10
more than
years.
that.
Yeah, it's been
You
I
longer.
was in the trenches in 2015, Conscious. Don't lie.
Huh? What happened?
You was in his YouTube trenches in 2015. Don't lie.
When Funky was
Hold on.
on just
I've
her
been who?
her
What
YouTube
happened?
channel.
I said you was in the YouTube trenches since 2015.
No, I've had a YouTube channel for a minute, but I
A
think
long time.
becoming a actual content creator
He used to be the queen of bundles.
probably was probably a decade ago. But see, when I was doing the bundle thing, I didn't consider myself a content creator. I was just like throwing anything up on YouTube, just doing any fucking thing. I didn't have no direction. I really didn't have no intentionality. YouTube was just a space to throw shit in. When I actually started being intentional about being a content creator, that's really when I transitioned into celebrity gossip, and that's really only been going on for the past like 18 years. But I had a YouTube channel.
Bundle.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Rest in peace
I
to the
got
bundle content. You will be
Yeah,
missed.
but
you.
That era done came and gone.
When
Now
the
What
butt
Conscious is
still
propositions
saying,
have
slack.
you gotten? I know you got some propositions, like with
oh yeah,
mainstream and stuff.
I got I got all type of shit that I'm technically supposed to be sponsoring and showcasing, but I don't have the spirit to.
Oh,
Mhm.
excuse me,
I
y'all.
don't have the spirit to do
Oh
it.
shit.
Stay on your lane,
Oh,
baby.
Conscious, sponsor me.
Huh?
Sponsor,
Oh,
sponsor me, daddy. Sponsor.
No, it's not me sponsored. I'm the one being sponsored.
I need me a sponsor too. What's good? What's
Look,
good?
bitch, you got
Said
you got
daddy.
Homegrown YouTube is the best place to be because there's nothing that Fox Soul or Temu
Let me
could
invest in the
do for.
game.
There's nothing they could do for you. You got more coin than they do at this point. Mainstream
well,
is just.
and that's what I love about Conscious, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know none of his financial business, but I can tell the way that he moves. He's not beholden to this bullshit. This ain't, you know what I'm saying?
oh,
This is a
no.
passion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a passion thing.
Well, I know you got
This
a
is
little
a
coin. The wig
Oh
change
yeah,
every
yeah. I don't know. I don't know none of his business. We do not talk offline for me to. But I can just tell. You just watch how people move and what they say and what they do. You can
Mm.
just. I can just deduce
What young
that
man said, I
this brother
Exactly.
he's
Exactly.
not doing it because he needs the little funky
No,
ass
it's not an
$60.
invent. No, it's
But
not
for
an
every four, but he
investment.
don't need the little 60, the little $60 for every 4K view. That bitches is killing themselves out
Exactly.
here, folks.
He
You know,
need the
that's what I
control,
respect.
just like every other Scorpio. You a Scorpio, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And he will
Yes. Chris
windmill
Jenner,
you. He
Drake,
will windmill
Puffy.
you.
I'm a
He
good
don't
He
care
old
need
who
the
you is.
right
control.
now.
No,
Uh-huh.
he a water bender, baby. He will blood bend you.
Waterbed.
He will
I'm a
blood
Pisces.
bend
That's how I
you,
know.
bitch.
Oh,
Like,
you a Pisces?
He
Who a Pisces?
will he
yes.
will blood bend you,
Are
I'm
you
a
a
bitch.
Pisces
Pisces
too,
too.
Divine?
I'm a Pisces.
Really?
My God.
February.
I'm Pisces Sun and Moon. And
Oh.
my Mercury's in Pisces.
No,
So
I'm a
yeah.
Pisces sun. I'm a Taurus moon. I'm a Cancer.
Oh, he's
Oh,
wild.
that's a good balance. I want that balance.
Yeah, I'm a crazy bitch. But
I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo with a Scorpio moon and an Aries
Period.
sun. Yeah.
my
I
first
was
was
Well,
raised
I'm
by
a
Scorpio.
two
Taurus,
Aries.
y'all.
Oh, you a
I'm a
Taurus?
Taurus
You
to
and a
the
Taurus?
yeah.
Oh, Taurus moon. I'm a Taurus moon.
Yeah,
They
I'm a
got the
whole
best
Virgo.
game. I was raised by two Aries.
I was
So
raised by
that-
my daddy birthday April 10th. He's an
Now, I
Aries.
was raised by a crazy ass Aquarius woman.
Oh
oh
goodness.
God. I'm married an Aquarius.
They're
Never
so
again.
loving, but
But
ooh,
you know something, y'all. I just wonder. I just realized why me and Conscious, why we cool like that. You know,
Why?
they said the opposite of the Taurus is the Scorpio.
Hmm.
mhm.
What's your moon conscious if you feel like sharing it? 'Cause sometimes I don't feel like
And what's that
sharing
natal chart looking
I
like?
forgot
it. Be
what my
careful,
moon
y'all.
is.
You're
I'm gonna have
what?
to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my chart because I forgot what moon.
Really? I'm surprised you don't know.
Hmm.
Because
You know what's
I'm such a full fanatic Scorpio that it's like I don't even be bothering with like
exactly?
No,
moon
They
and
ain't
my
even
look.
look.
rising and my sun.
You know,
I'm like,
Scorpio love me for some reason. Scorpios love me. I don't
You're
know
Yeah,
more
what.
I'm a
Scorpio
whole.
than you
I gotta
know,
go
and I don't
check
even
my
know you
chart. I'm
that
gonna
well,
check
but
my
I see it.
chart.
I see it.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. No, I loves me. My favorite water signs, even though Pisces is in my house as a Virgo. Shout out to Pisces.
Amen.
But my favorite water sign that I happen to interact most is the Scorpio, and
Can't
Everybody,
that's
find
probably
none.
they y'all, everybody's favorite Scorpio.
I'm a
like
natural
One
I
that
love,
Scorpio.
nobody
and I
shows
love Gemini,
love.
and I like Gemini. And here's the thing, people, I loves me a Gemini.
I hate them.
Oh,
Gemini is
I love me
No
a
crazy.
Gemini.
Guys
offense.
love me, but I don't like
I
them.
love me a Gemini.
They
Joel's,
love
yeah,
me.
no,
They
Gemini's are good to party
crazy.
with. Gemini's are good to party with. They good when they're in a great mood, but oh, that
They good to
1%.
party with. They good to fuck with. They good to sleep with.
I have
Sweet
I have
with.
meaningful
He go-
relationships and good sex with
my,
Geminis.
my
Okay.
world child.
Chris.
Ooh,
See the fun parts.
Oh,
yeah.
oh my. Oh
But
Gemini, the
yeah.
say
But
household
so
one
that
sign.
thing
let me say
I
so.
wanted to say, y'all,
Go ahead, go ahead.
every one of y'all bring something different. And that's what I love about each and one of y'all. Y'all bring something different with love, with kindness. Y'all have shown me love, even with conscience. One thing about conscience, I'm gonna say this. Don't be playing with conscience. I gotta say this to the public. Don't be playing with conscience because he will windmill you. He don't care who you is. He keep telling y'all equal opportunity.
I'm toxic. I like the windmill. I'm stop.
I like
He
when
will
Conscious
get.
tell everybody off, but he like, hold on, let me just read the whole world.
Oh God.
You can
Oh,
gather me,
when he,
conscious. You
oh,
can
he
gather me all
cleared,
day.
oh, he cleared the motherfucking panel.
Conscious.
Oh,
You gather
no,
me
let me
all
move
day.
you hoes to the side. I got some
Well,
shit
Papa, Papa,
I
you
need
need it
to
now.
say.
Right.
What?
I
Get it
got
now.
that.
Hey,
Got
But
you got
speaking
to
of
Right.
which, on the
and look,
spirituality
and,
side,
and we still be waiting there too.
he's still coming right back, right?
Nobody
in my
ain't went
play.
nowhere. Nobody ain't went nowhere. That part.
Yeah.
Now
And
I'm
we
learning
and
about. Wait, y'all.
and,
Now
and
that I'm learning. Now that I
that's
hear
my
what happened
conscience.
with
I'm
with
sticking beside it.
now I think
Period.
now I think I
Oh,
heard
that's,
what Can y'all hear me?
So it's all love, y'all. It's all love. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted to say.
Yes,
Um,
and we love
but
you too,
Thank
I
Father.
you.
was,
Love
Yes.
you too, boo.
and, and I wanted to touch one more thing. I wanted to touch on the Brandy thing, right
Mm.
quick. Do you? I don't know if y'all know, but Brandy, I love Brandy to death, but she's from Mississippi. She don't claim us.
She
Oh,
don't.
That's the first thing.
I just
She
found that out.
from Macomb, Mississippi. She don't
Oh,
claim us. This,
she
this, this is the place where that type of stuff go on, where the older, the older people go with the younger people. I don't
I
know if
haven't
you know
heard her
about
going
Mississippi.
back
Mississippi,
there.
something else.
You know Brandy be lying because didn't the
Mississippi,
one
something else.
from Michigan? Now she's
girl.
from Mississippi.
Better
Child, she
No,
talk
I
lying.
with
remember her saying
Rashonda.
Mississippi when I was younger, but I don't respect no celebrity that don't go back and like show the public them going back. Like it's important. Like I know people be like, "Oh, I don't want to show off." No, it's important because that, especially for the youth to see that type of stuff, that you gotta always go back. And I don't like when celebrities don't do that. I really
Cause she
don't.
be lying too damn much. She didn't even want to admit that she was married or
That's
not married.
true.
Yeah, it's like what I'm saying is, I don't know. It's like a stereotype thing. Here in Mississippi, that's the ongoing thing that the older people you being taught. Um, you get the girls, the guys, you get the girls, you sleep with how many you want to sleep with, and different things like that. Um, and here's my thing: why is it okay for a man to do that, but when a girl do it or get with a older man, she this, she that? You get
Exactly.
me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like even with R. Kelly, you know. For my birthday, I kind of saw some things. He actually came to Mississippi.
Uh huh.
Man, them girls was throwing themselves at him. They touched on that man. They doing some stuff. Then they hollering later, oh, he did this to me. Oh, he did that to me.
Yeah, there has
Yeah,
been a
I
lot
saw
of
this one for myself.
allegations. Now, Robert Kelly is a mess, but I do miss R. Kelly. I do. That was one of my favorite singers, performers, and all that. Songwriter. He wrote for everybody from Celine Dion to Michael Jackson. Like I do miss the R. Kelly, but I don't know if he should get as much time as he did. Robert should get as much time
I mean,
as he
he still
did.
be doing his thing from prison. You know how these artists do. They be somehow get a hold of fucking recording equipment behind the bars. Him and Tory Lanez be
But my question
That's why
is
I said I
to the
think that
panel,
the parents should be more held accountable because if you know your daughter age
right?
14 going to hang out at R. Kelly's house, that is child neglect. Because you think it fun of them, they think that it's okay, that is cool, that is, yeah, R. Kelly should definitely, or whoever else should definitely be called on the carpet, but the parents too. That's
yeah,
some
sending
weird
a
ish.
Diddy flavor.
Right.
Like remember that video interview with Usher talk about his he had sent to some the Diddy flavor camp or something when he was young.
Mm-hmm. What the heck is
Yeah.
that about? Why would
Mm-hmm.
you let your
It
even
see, that's what I'm
if
saying. Throughout music industry, it's like it was okay. But my thing is, my question is to y'all: why was it okay back then, and now it's a problem now? It was wrong in the beginning, and now all of a sudden you want to sue somebody. You wanna
I think it's because it really social media has a lot to do with it. Because when I talk about, we all in New York knew what Puffy was doing since the beginning of time, whether it
hmm
was going upside a girl's head or being up in some coochie that he didn't belong, and we all knew, or something else. But we all knew. But with this new stuff coming out, in this case, I speak to my West Coast friends or my Midwest friends or even some of my Southern friends. They had no idea what was going on. I'm like, you didn't hear this in the '90s? You didn't hear this? And
hmm
they'd be like, no, nope, not at all. So
and,
and
and
social
and not
media
only that, y'all. Not only that, I saw something on TV, and this is disclaimer. I'm telling everybody, make sure you talk to your children. Make sure you talk to your nieces, guys. You need to talk to put the men to the side when a woman says no. Okay, I don't care what the situation is. When a woman say no, please stop, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna get a case against you. You get what I'm saying? Um, I seen something, and this is why I'm saying this. I see this something personally. The girl went to the store, the gas station, right? You know how it is. You go to the come from the club. You're trying to get some gas and gas station stuff like that. This dude was touching on this girl. She told him to stop, and he kept on touching on her, and nobody at the gas station did anything.
see the
Mm.
men need to
This
sit
is on
there.
YouTube.
Men be
So he
just
just
sitting
kept
there.
on trying to he pulling her pants down, all this stuff. It's like it's normal now, and people see that. Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing.
No, let me
So
say this: straight
women,
men won't do nothing. Straight men will not do nothing. But a queer man, I've seen them like jump on a nigga real quick for disrespecting a woman. But the straight men will just sit there. They be calling you all type of itches and whatever else. They just be sitting there eating
hmm
popcorn.
Don't stand for
it's
nothing.
it's like we're putting ourselves in, and I tell the women all the time, don't put yourself in harm's way. You by yourself and all that stuff. These men are watching you come from the club. They're watching you go in and out of the stores, different things like that. You have to protect yourself. You get what I'm saying? Because if not, you're gonna put yourself in a situation you might be unalive. Your children might be unalive. You don't want that. You get me? And it's sad that we live in a situation where we got to protect ourselves, but we have to do what we need to do because you
Maybe
see
some
what's going
Zans
on.
or
They
some
don't.
perks
They
you
don't
slipping that in that Heineken. You better get some Zans or some perks or something, sweetie. Get that
yeah,
out of there.
cause here's my thing. They feel like, okay, she tell me no, I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. That's basically what the man's mind now is thinking. She tell me no. Men don't like rejection, and they
No
cause a
means
man to
yes.
be frustrated and angry.
Remember, no means yes. They used to tell us no means yes, but a lot of men
Yeah,
don't
and
know
then not
either.
only that,
If you meet a girl at the club and she's inebriated, even if she say yes, you could still get charged. Not that you will, because there's not like police at every single door. And a lot of guys, the whole trafficking thing, you fly somebody out. They want you to stop in the middle of it. They feel like they're under pressure to say yes. Your husband or your wife, you can still R word them. Like people don't know. Y'all got to read the laws first of all, because the judge don't stand for
thank
well. I
you,
didn't
thank
know.
you.
Ignorance of the
I
law
didn't
is
Yeah,
know.
no
Yeah, I don't even
ignorance of the
know.
law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then it's kind of like the fact that laws like that has to be thought of is often signs of consequences of something happening. A lot of these judicial laws that are put in place are usually because there's a case and there's something that actually happened in real life, or enough times even for it to have to be like, okay, there has to be a legal and lawful adverse standard against this to deter this type of behavior from happening. And it's always an emboldenedness though too, that people have, and that's what I was saying too. Everybody's gangster until the police show up. Everybody
and then
thinks
why
they
you have to put roofies in people's stuff just to get them to do what you want them to do? That's
because
low
that's the thing.
down.
That's because that's the thing. But that's because here's the thing, like. in a
I agree with you,
patriarchal
nigga. I don't
society,
care.
and speaking to the whole Brandy thing too, is like there is an underlying theme though too now, which what Conscious was saying earlier. So, oh yes, girl, get you a man and make sure you get you a man. This also is to keep you infantilized, ladies. Just think about it. There are laws
Hmm.
for the most part in this country. You could even get a fucking bank account until like the 70s, 1970s, or some shit like that. So there are things put in place for this to be your position and for you to be socialized this way. So it's not far fetched if you are treating grown adult females, aka women or trans women, like children. You put them in positions to where they are even in their adult body still in dependency of another adult body. Thus, the psychology of that's the reason why males are more child predators than females because it's more socialized. Because heteronormativity calls for females to be infantilized. So that's why it's not far fetched for way older men, just like we saw in Color Purple and all of that, and it was lawful and legal. And that's what I was saying why Wanye was so able to be comfortable and be so misogynistic and chauvinistic and shit. Yeah, because shit, it was legal. He had to point that out. That's why he had that much undergird all his. That's why he said it with his whole chest, you heard me? Because Zaddy, white Zaddy, ain't gonna do nothing to him. And that's one thing I've learned about in the black community is that niggas will terrorize everybody, but he will terrorize queer people from all over Black America. But that white Hispanic sissy, he ain't gonna touch. That Asian FAG, he not gonna touch. So it's never always about just general queerness. You only have access to terrorize the people that the system allows you to terrorize. You're not terrorizing the system. Two different things.
But I forgot to say in the
Wow.
industry too is that a lot of I forgot this, and this is important too. A lot of parents or people advising the child or whatever like that, they will hook them up with a man, and most of the time they are older to stop them from becoming like a buffet for just for the rest to be passed around like a bag of family size chips or something. So they will hook them up with someone like a Wanye or a Jay-Z or a R. Kelly. That happens a lot too. Because they're like, well, if I can sit here and, guide her to such and such, then she won't be in the studio with everybody up her pants, her dress.
Correct. And well, let's not
And
forget,
then,
y'all. Let's not forget. It's biblical. That's
yeah, I know
biblical.
where you're going with it. Yeah.
It's not my feelings, baby. I can't help that. That's the shit. The same people who put together and institutionalized and canonized your 1611 canonized Bible and your Quran, honey. What they're doing is biblical. The God of the Bible, the inventors of the God of the Bible, thought it was culturally legal and lethal for Judaic and Sumerian culture.
Mm.
Okay? So,
But
and now
but see,
for spiritual bitches out there, I'm just gonna say this. You wonder why the degenerate behavior, see why your grandma thinks she's in holiness and righteousness, why she got that book. I'm gonna be esoteric for just a second. But you're ignoring all of the very much real, violent, brutal, inequality characteristics that actually can be deduced that does happen in a system and government connected to said belief. That carries more chocolate. That carries more cheese. But because you call it dividing the word evenly, oh, just because you ignore that frequency isn't there doesn't mean it's not going to manifest itself in your life and everyone. So what they're doing is biblical.
The Quran says it too, the
hmm,
Bhagavad Gita. read up on Gandhi and what freak shit he was doing. They, any
What?
excuse.
Wait a minute now. They made him like he was a saint. That was, wait a minute,
Yes.
when that happen?
I don't
Oh
understand.
man.
Like that's what I'm saying. So this is the state religion. This is the state. These are the beliefs. So that's why I kind of yeah. And then when I went back and researched, I've been telling women. I said, look, I don't like having male privilege. Okay, I don't like having male privilege. The fact that yes, even as a black queer man, that I would say, and I'm gonna say this. Yes, I can say that I don't want to be a woman because of patriarchy, but guess what? You don't want to be a fat, excuse me. You don't want to be a gay person either, though, because you see how the system is. So we're all in a position, really, to sit around and
Mhm.
look at each other and be like, oh, I don't want to be in your position for a very real reason. And
This is
see,
a puzzle question.
and
IG.
if we can't,
Do y'all really like? What are y'all thoughts on gender equality? Do y'all believe that gender equality is like a real thing? Because as we talk,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we talk about wanting gender equality in one sense, but then when we have these conversations, all we do is list the differences between men and women all the time.
Mhm.
So it's like, what are y'all thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like we're actually equal, or do you feel like we're not? We're not equal, but we're not like there was no better than, there's no worse than. We're just not the same.
We are
That's how I
equal, but
feel.
we're not the
We're
same,
never gonna
and
be
there
the
is
same.
inequality within the system. I mean, the
Mhm.
system is male centered. I mean, obviously, like women had to fight for their votes, they had to fight for their
Yeah.
right to work, they had to fight for their. I mean, like if I mean, I thought the history proves that there's a gender inequality, but not. But it's only a gender inequality because men decided that women ain't shit and women don't
Mm-hmm.
inherit value outside of what a man projects onto a woman. But in terms of nature, yes, we are equal. We're not the same, but yes, we are equal, and it requires both to uh balance reality and creation. But the system that man made, yeah.
and you ain't shit conscious because biblically, you're the one who tempted me with the apple, girl. So, bitch, it's your fault why we in this mess anyway. No
And you know
wonder
what,
these
IG?
niggas. No wonder these niggas making it how they making it. You got a
And you
belief
know what,
system
IG?
that say,
And
bitch,
because
you
of
look.
patriarchy, I highly doubt that it went that way.
Oh, I know, but the reality is this is why it's so brutal against women because I mean, even as a child, I instantly put that together. I said, "Oh, so that's why they treat women like that." So everything because you hear men do it all the time in the patriarchal society. It baffles me as a biological male. I swear to God, and I'd be like, "Wait." We live in a patriarchy, and you literally beat physically. Females would not be in this position, baby, if they were if they were physiologically our equal in the sense of mass. Females only are in this position, and I do mean that is the only reason. But let's tell the truth, though, sweetheart. Nations conquer other nations. Other men are in the same subjugated positions of other men because they were outwitted. They were the more smarter. They were the more advanced. They were the better warrior. But unfortunately, there is a global system to where us fucking XY mutations of humanoids need to feel and subjugate. It's built and coded in that system. So yes, it's your fault, bitch, because you gave me that motherfucking apple, and this is why. And then this is why God said, this is why it hurt, bitch, when you have a child. This is why when you have a
Amen.
period home. This is the Bible. I'm just
I got
paraphrasing
a
for you.
question.
This
They took
this
I
is
got a
liberty with
why,
question.
the Bible.
this
That's
is
not
why,
good.
I
bitch,
got a
when you
question.
have
They
a
took
period, you can't even be in the house, bitch. The dog, the family
Woo,
dog
I
can
got a
sleep
question.
inside, bitch, but you can't because you on your cycle. Go ahead.
you heard about
I
Lilith?
got a
Lilith
question.
was in the Bible.
Okay, if women not nothing, okay, why is it that men feel like they need a woman when they can't do stuff by themselves. You get me? Think about what I'm
because
saying.
it's a man. Yeah,
Men,
because
wait a
it's a.
minute, men and
I'm
women,
playing the
we are
bad guy,
balanced.
y'all. I'm playing the bad guy. Yeah.
We are balanced
I'm
and
just
not
asking questions.
equal. And that they need to
I'm gonna
stop
tell you what they gonna say.
trying to push women, especially for this equality, because physically we're never gonna, conquer men or anything like that. We got to use what we have to get what we want. And there's something there. We just forgotten how to use it because the system, they like to keep us bickering between each other. So we're not looking at
Wait
what they're
a
doing. We're not
minute.
paying attention to them. And
Yeah.
that's it. And that's like plain and simple. You know how many kings and kingdoms, queendoms were advised by women? She
Mm-hmm.
wasn't
Right.
going out and fighting
Yeah.
in the damn court.
Queen
It was the
Elizabeth.
men.
Hey.
She would sit
Yeah.
there, she would tell him what to do, and he would freaking do it. She would use him, she would control him spiritually and mentally and make the decisions that way and not be on the battlefield doing all that type of stuff. No.
I'm
We're
Right.
gonna, I'm gonna
balanced,
tell
but
y'all
we're
some
not
Cleopatra. Cleopatra, right to this day, she is still relevant. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. Cleopatra seduced 2 men and ruled everything.
that's how I said. There's nothing
Uh,
wrong with Brandy. You
okay,
scared? You scared of getting
never
like
mind.
R-worded or thrown in a
But,
car, stuff like that?
oh,
We can't wait for everybody to be moral. We can't wait for everybody to do what they're supposed to do and follow the law and take our feelings into account. No, that stuff isn't going on since the beginning of time. It's gonna be going on to the end of time. You gotta learn to use your mind and outwit a person. As for the women, men, we can do
mm-hmm.
I
whatever
have a
we want to, but
question
we need
though.
to
I agree with all that, but here's
be a
the thing.
Lilith, not a Eve.
Right, but we live in an Eve reality. That's the thing, though. We live in an Eve. I get it, but the overwhelming majority, translation, frequency, vibration, understanding, institutionalism, right, has an Eve perspective. We don't live in a Lilith perspective. So the frequency of all of those things and the history that is attached to that, and the things that are deducible as to what violence and conquering happened to where you have the translation that you have now, all of that is soaked within the creation antiquity of that book. So a man would say, well, no, because think about it. If, oh, this is ugly. Oh, but I'm going to go there. Well, if it was so divine for you to rule, sweetheart, God would have made it to where you can conquer me and not the other way around. Since that's why I can enslave other peoples and nations. That's why I have the right. Because as long as I can outwit them and outdo them, and you're a fucking woman, you're just a female. So, of course, I mean, females are outdone and outwitted and dominated in every country. And that's why it's divinely so, because it's the reality that we live in. That's what
No,
they
but
think.
but see, I'm gonna say this. I'm
That's
gonna say this.
different.
that's what
IG.
If
they
you speak
I
that's
to
got,
what
I
they
got,
Hasidic,
I
mimic
got to
and
say something
do.
on that.
That's what
if
they
you
Most
speak to
of
do.
Hasidic
y'all,
Uh-huh.
Jews, or you speak
mm-mm.
to Hasidic Jews, or you speak to a lot of the Hebrews and the anywhere the Arabs or whatever like that, they'll tell you the women are the brain, but the men is the head, but the women are the brain.
But what do they
A lot of them
present?
Exactly.
go home and they
But
listen
what do
to
they
their
present
wives.
to the but what do they present to the world, sweetheart?
It don't
Who do
matter.
A lot.
yes, that okay, no, we can't do this. No, they don't present that to you. Every group, every nation has nuances. Nuances are not often the voice of the representation, because if that was the case, you would see a different demographic and representation of power and government. Because the last time I checked, I don't see no Jewish women in Israel sitting in no pop. No, that's just representation of nuance. Like that's again, that is
That's what
influence.
they feed to us, though. Because if you go to the Middle East, or you go, I'm from New York. I've been in Brooklyn a million times.
I'm
If
from
you
New
go and
Orleans, baby.
if you
I'm
go
from New
into these
Orleans.
communities,
Yeah, I'm
if
from
you
New
go
Orleans, baby. I
in
love
these,
Park City.
listen to me,
Yep.
okay? When you
Yeah.
go into these communities and speak to these like different people face to
Yes.
face. They'll tell you what time it is. They will.
Oh, I
It's
oh
only
I
in
know
in
that.
the
Exactly.
Oh,
Middle East
oh,
right now. They said that they don't
mm,
want to drive. They mad that they could. They took that right to not drive away from them because now they gotta drive everywhere, and that's one more chore they gotta do. This thing, there's reasons why these
Exactly.
things are in place, and it's not always the men. The women control the men.
here's
That's
the
it.
Exactly.
thing.
Let me tell y'all
Here
something right quick.
you
They
have,
just
but
they
no,
just
but
now
that's
we
but that's why most women want to immigrate
the who-
because that is a nuance that you have because you came to America.
They
Your
come here not for that. They
country,
come here for
right?
money.
That right, but your country, hold on, but your country, no, no. Your most women will say, people of color too, the laws and the protection that you have here and the
uh-huh.
liberties that gives you the right to stand up to a man and say no. How a person of color from their respectable country moves when they're here in America, even if they have a nuance, and I get some of them hold their standards. I've talked to plenty of people from Istanbul and Saudi Arabia and Cuba and different of nationality and ethnicity, baby. I'm from New Orleans, Europe. I'm 40 years old too. And what I've seen from the people who are first, second generation that's been there, that just got there too. Oh no, baby, it's all patriarchal. Especially if they have any Abrahamic belief. I ain't never seen a household where maybe they might have certain discussions of nuance, but every single ethnicity that I have seen that has been even in New Orleans for past 3 and 4 generations, you heard me? Oh no, baby, the men make the decision. The only time that they
But
break away from that is when they're
question,
Americanized. The only
I'll
reason
send
why
you
you
some
see
links,
that
sweetheart.
if they're Americanized.
DM me and I'll send you some links.
question.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure. I'm
got a
sure they
question.
can. I'm not denying that it don't exist, but that's not but that is not the voice of the culture.
Not the
That's not the
voice.
representation. That's
My
not the representation of when you
not
think
the
of that
voice, of
culture.
course. That's why I said women are the brain, the men is the head. You don't speak with your brain, you speak
Right.
from your brain. Like I said, the
I,
men are the
I,
And
voice.
and not only
The
that,
advisors are the
I,
women.
I can believe
and not
that. I
only
can
that,
believe that.
they want us. That's what I was saying earlier, y'all. They want
Okay.
us around when they need our help, but then we ain't nothing. You get me? God made us a helpmate, right? Listen to
Hmm.
what I'm saying. God made us a helpmate to help the man, right? But God gave authority to the man to be a leader. And what is happening is that God is seeing that the man don't want to leave,
Hmm.
and he's trying to. You get where I'm finna go with this? The
Hmm.
men don't want to leave, and
Or
you
they
wondering why
future.
the women are trying to be leaders because men don't want to lead. They want to have it their way. Oh, all she is you got men that really think like this. Oh, she sit up. All I gotta do is have
But
her cook,
but
clean, have
but
babies. You
Rashonda,
got men actually think that.
Yeah.
And the problem was when the
They
men
are
would
but
Now,
but
when the
Rashonda,
men would lead each other. And when they came up with this
but
whole thing, is let's just call it for the lack of a better term,
hold
like a
on,
vice president. When they started bringing that BS into the folds, that's when things really started to go. You know, right. Like they went right instead of left. We supposed to be going left. It went right. But like in like think of my grandparents when my grandpa got married, he cashed his check and as soon as he cashed his check, he'll give it to my grandmother to put in his purse. She don't want to decide how the household is ran, what he need, what he don't need. And if she was to fall, then he would fall. And it'll be a trickle down. If he's not correct, then he can't work. But she decides, and if he can't work, then the whole household is just what they're going to be living on the street. But she made all
mm,
the decisions so that he could make
but okay,
the
but it's
decisions of
so because
the
you run
world.
a household, but here's now this is what men gonna say. So just because you run a household, can you run a company?
They do.
Because you run a household. No, but I'm saying during the position of when women were most. I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm not saying I don't think this, but this is how men move. Well, I mean, just because. Well, think about it. You are in a position of well, if I provide the stableness of the check, that's the least you can do is run the household. It's not like a kudos thing. If we're gonna do the patriarchal thing, well, that's your job. It's no same thing. Like for me to go out here and go get that check, baby, that's my job according to this standard. So it's not astronomical or phenomenal
Running the
that you're a
household
house.
in turns is running him. You cannot drive a car without gas.
Oh, baby, I'm just speaking from a man. I'm telling you, baby, you could think that's what you think. That's what you tell yourself what it is. But and then we'll let you think that. We'll
Or
let
we'll let
So
you think
question,
that.
why do
We'll
they
let you
need a
think that.
woman? Why do they need a woman? That's my whole point. If men got it so figured out, why do they need us for
Because they don't.
anybody?
Because they don't got it figured out. That's the point. They need women. They
Never
need,
mind.
y'all need each other, period. I don't know why men keep trying to be all this divisive stuff. Men and women, y'all need each other. I ain't talking about us, me and Conscious, we gay. But y'all need each other. Y'all men and women, straight people, all that divisive stuff is just unnecessary. They act like they don't need y'all, but they do this all because of y'all. That's the whole
Thank you.
they
Thank
do this.
you.
Pussy makes the world go round and round and round.
And it make you act crazy too. Make them act just whew, Lord have mercy. I done seen some stuff.
Everything come from women.
Never
Even gay
mind.
shit.
But again, y'all know I'm playing. I'm just
Never
saying I'm
mind.
jumping to the I'm jumping into the psychology. I'm saying though, men got it set up, baby, to where it's a mind game too. Like they make you, it's set up for you to think that's a power position. If you're only think about it, even as an
The only
enslaved
reason
person,
that there is a power position is to cherish and take care of the women. That's the whole reason why the system, every system, even back
it's
in the day, the Indian wars and the, like, the native wars and all that other stuff around the globe. The only reason they happened was to protect the women.
was it to protect the women or to protect the resource? Was it to
The
protect,
women.
baby? I hear what again. I'm not
But who
saying it's
finds the
wrong.
resources? The men are not
Mm,
finding the
mm,
resources.
mm, oh,
I
And
think
wouldn't it, if it was up to men,
mm,
y'all, like, men
he's
oh,
wouldn't be
speaking
doing
the
this
okay,
mind.
shit.
okay, okay. I'm just
Sitting around
saying, like,
scratching their nuts.
because men, but no, because here's the thing, because y'all saying men don't lead. Why? Okay, if men don't lead, then why don't you have your reproductive rights?
I didn't say men don't
If
lead. Men
men,
don't
well, no,
advise.
men
Men don't
don't want to
advise
lead.
the
Somebody
leaders.
said lead. No, we're not going. Somebody said men don't want to lead. I don't know what you were trying to. So I'm saying leading often means that you have some form, of control, and we can't say might not like how men are leading. Oh, I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that they're not leading. They are. That's why we're in the war now.
They're
That's
leading.
why we're
They're leading
going.
us to the depths of
That's
hell.
why rights. So yes, I think that it's a game, baby. Men. This is why women be going crazy because it's set up to where we play these games and we want you. What you saying? That's exactly what a man wants you to think, baby. He wants you to think that you just secure in your position like that, and he's counting on you to. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with egalitarianism. Again, but that ideal and thought is given to you by patriarchy. You, as a woman, didn't come up with that concept. A
I
man
don't believe
did.
in none of that. Matriarchy, patriarchy, I don't believe in none of that.
Well, I mean, regardless of what you
It's a
believe or
psyop.
not,
It's a
it's the
psyop.
reality. I mean,
It's
I'm not talking
propaganda.
about beliefs, but
But
I'm not talking about beliefs. I don't give a damn about beliefs. The reality is
It's a
that
psyop.
I mean, you could say it's a side up, but it's a very much real control. It's been
the side
around for
like
centuries, and it. I mean, it's you can call it what you want to. The reality is, this is how the reality of it works, regardless how we feel about it. We can't
like you
say patriarchy this and oh women oppress this and okay then even as a man it comes a time where you think I'm gonna sit here as a man and not say bitch I'm terrorized too. That's what patriarchy does.
Call you a
It
bitch? I
broke.
don't give a damn about no bitch. You a bitch too. That's what I would say. And that's another thing, another issue with especially this generation. Y'all too sensitive. Words are words. Yeah, these people weren't never taught sticks and
Oh no,
stones.
I don't give a
But
damn about words. It's not words, baby.
Hold
It's
up,
actions.
hold up,
It's not.
wait,
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
up.
and it's been taught that you should have a
Not
reaction for that.
you, dear.
Not
Oh,
you, but people in general.
yeah,
It's taught.
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
we are
Go
not more
ahead.
sensitive. We are more aware, and we call out the bullshit. We're all sensitive. Millennials are sensitive too. They just want shit under the rug. We don't sweep shit under the
Come
rug.
on,
We
come
call that
No,
on.
we keep
out.
it moving. That's why
We
we
put
we
belt.
don't bark at every car, but we know what time it is.
Yeah, we went for war, baby. It ain't
But here's
sensitive.
the thing.
Hey,
Ooh,
oh,
but there's a certain conditioning though, baby, that we have. Because I'm 40 years old too, and my daddy told me the truth about some things. Being born 1926, my daddy said, the reason why I let you talk so much and even sometimes give a little more lip, because I dealt with the reality of where when you walk and there's white people and you go to town and get what you need, you gotta hold your head. See, people talk about what you would and would not do in those positions. See, that's so insulting because when you got your reality of conditioning is different. So yeah, my daddy told me the truth of when you're integrated and when you got to certain things. Yes, there was a lot of black men who fought back, but here's the thing, baby. When you integrated, your territory became their territory. So my daddy told me the truth. He said the reason why you got the freedom I give you because I know what it's like to be has to be subjugated. I know what it's like to have to deal with certain things and swallow my pride so I can live another day. Because fighting my honor and getting killed here when I have to take care of your grandma, your sick grandma, and your uncle. See, there's choices there's things that patriarch. See, that's a product. My dad's terror as being born 1926 at times that he had to deal with as a grown ass motherfucking man. See, baby, that had everything to do with patriarchy. That have anything to do with another man's ideal or rule. So yeah, I get it, but then to a certain degree now. But so yeah, not people are not necessarily more sensitive. You just had a certain condition to where life was better and different. What it appears to say better for us during then. Well, remember, there's a lot of ignorance that we had too. We wasn't aware of a lot of shit that was toxic, but it worked and it functioned for us. So yeah, it might seem like that other people are more sensitive, but when you've been desensitized because you're conditioned to certain things and you don't know better, like I was talking about earlier with the politics. A lot of us have a lot of bad habits. My daddy said, I'm not going to do the same things. That's how you break a general curse. The dysfunctional, uncomfortable things that your parents might have did. He said some of those ass whoopings went extra hard. I wanted to beat you so you beat in line so those white folks don't get a hold and beat you because they might beat you to death. That's the type of reality that our ancestors lived through. Not my
But
words,
see, let me
his.
ask you this though,
So
IG.
there's
Do
a
you think
difference.
it's an excuse for men to, even though they have been toxic throughout years and years and they went through what they went through, do you feel like it's wrong for them to, even though they come from a woman, do you think that they have the right to be toxic to a woman, be rude to a woman, especially when they know they're gonna need a woman?
No, but that's the
See
thing.
where I'm
And
going
see,
with this?
yeah, but see, here's the spell work that's happening here. Because we live in a Helios Biblos text and it's instituted in your government that you are a helpmeet and you are a weaker vessel. See, these are things again, I don't feel this way, people. But this is what's instituted in your government. This is who made your laws and your parameters for the age of consent. It shouldn't be surprised when we swear on the Bible where people can fuck a one female as soon as she get her period or comes to age or arranged marriages and all of that to be sold into slavery and women are property. So this is why we shouldn't be shocked that Wanya put his 22-year-old dick in 16-year-old when your grandmother carries the Bible and go to church every motherfucking Sunday that promotes all that type of shit and your government backs it. So yes, I'm not saying that I feel this way, But unfortunately, and there are women, and again, I'm not trying to beat you up, women, because people don't want to say they're victims. There's sometimes where people are victims of circumstances that they had absolutely no control over.
You
So,
always have a choice.
no, yeah, okay, but here's the thing with those choices. If those choices always ends to a detriment, then yes, you do have a choice. That don't mean that the outcome might be better or worse if the choices are to a detriment. Because you don't control the choices. That's speaking from a position as if you get to control what the choices are. Life would be
Well, no one
great if
really
that worked.
controls. You can. Oh, yes, you do control who the choices are, because no one really controls what they're not. They got, you got to understand what's put in the propaganda. Even way back then, there's so much propaganda that they like it has you controlling yourself for them, and they do that because it's better to have us bickering amongst each other than sitting around and noticing what they're really doing. Because you think of the top of the pyramid as a bunch of white men, and it's not. It's
Mm-mm.
not.
It's a
It
bunch of
never
people that,
was. It
yeah,
never
well,
ever was.
it never was, because here's the thing about world history, and I
That's
appreciate you,
confusing.
sister. I appreciate you for pointing that out because, yes, the world, not just America, y'all, the world throughout its antiquity has always been separated. People have always been separated by ethnicity, culture, and tribe. Nobody up until the recent last maybe half a millennia with skin color. No, that doesn't exist if you're on a continent where other people have the same genetic makeup and markers. However, what always has existed has been a delineation and territorial separation of thoughts, expressions, humanity, and ideal. So when you have larger governments and larger groups that then create countries. Then depends on the influence of power, not media, not fashion. Yeah, no, trading with art and music, when it talks about trading, that's one thing, but that's not the representation of the culture of who those people are. That's a difference there. So as people grow, the influence of what makes a standard becomes more further out than the individual. So when I say choices, I am not just talking about the allegorical, or I'm not speaking to the of always philosophical. That's an endless bound. No, there are things that are in reality so far as how your government legislation works, etc., your judicial, and also what influence the culture and the religions and the things that are attached to that. Those things are heavily connected to the reality, regardless of how you feel about it. So, this is why, yes, unfortunately, I don't feel this way. But looking at the way that men dominate other conquering whole nations full of everybody in that motherfucker, what then makes you think he wouldn't treat the female sex any less if males have the ability to conquer other males? It's a
It's a
no-brainer.
challenge thing. The
It's
same
I
reason
mean
why
it's
men take care of
ugly.
them.
I don't. It's
So
ugly, but that's what men are doing, y'all.
let me ask you a question. So if a
But
man takes care of his car, who's really, if you think about it, who is really under control? Because he's working for, he's taking care of, he all that. He's maintaining who, like this, like
Because
you, like what
like
that's,
a
but that's
but
a
like
chicken. That's, wait, let me finish. That's like a
go
chicken
ahead.
of or the egg scenario.
No, it's
Because
very
you are the
straightforward.
man, when it's a wife, the man is yielding. And right, and I'm not talking about the extremes or the ones that, are a little off kilter.
I'm not either.
I'm talking about the same, the same. He's yielding to his wife and his family at the end of the day.
Because like a car, oh, this is so ugly. Because in biblical times, a woman is just like a horse or a car. It's interesting that you use a car. Of course, he's going to take care of a car that provides utility to him. And because of the way that it is set up, you are supposed to be the helpmate. So, I mean, I mean, even slave masters of certain classes wouldn't have their house slaves around there looking raggedy. No, they ate good and they had to deal with a little SA every now and again. But and again, I'm not trying to be pedantic, but I'm just saying the dark side psychology of men,
I
because
don't
just
call
like
it
the
anything
car,
back to slavery.
that car, no, but I'm
We ain't
saying,
doing that now.
but that car has usage of, just like a woman. Oh shit. Just like a woman, that car has utility. That car
Well,
gets him
you
from
brought up
A
a
to
horse.
B. That car gets him from A to B. And hey, a woman services a woman, a human being. Let's just be honest. See, because even
Lord.
if you take the coochie out of it, even if you take the coochie out of it, the fact that you are another human being that are supposed to be used for utility of assistance for his ambition, it's more than enough for him to take care
But
of
you
you.
said a horse. Let's say a man will go. A horse will decide at the end of the way. At the end of the day, who is gonna go and who is gonna go for. Because one cowboy can get on there. That's his owner, and they'll guide the way collectively. Each other really will. But it could be a somebody that don't know that horse. That horse is not listening. And also,
And the
it doesn't
horse will
matter
have an
where. It don't
attitude
matter
too.
which way
Horse
the
have
owner takes it. If
attitude.
there's a fire over there, or a sea, or an ocean, or a lake, or something over there, or an avalanche over there, at the end of the day, the horse is not going.
And all the man
Hmm.
is gonna say that, and let me tell you what a man gonna say. All right, sugar, you're not the horse for me, baby. There's more of you females than us niggas, and I'm just gonna go ahead and find me a horse that's more palatable to my ride. That's what a
I'm gonna
man
buy a
gonna
horse
do.
and go to the Beyonce concert. That's what I'm
I'm
gonna
telling you,
do.
I'm telling you, baby. It's a
See my horse at the
utility.
Carter show.
Yeah, it's a utility, and I'm not,
Y'all
and I'm not
funny.
saying every man is not like this, but yes, unfortunately, y'all, the way that the antiquity of how it was created in law, not just my opinion, that's how it's in mind. That's the type of mind frame that, even though they're not saying it, bruh. Now there are men who are in touch with their emotions who are not gonna go for that. But here's the gag though. That's often not the man, that's the majority. See, here's the thing. My daddy was a great man. However, he was not great in the sense of the standard of the world. And I'm okay with that. Because if he was great, the majority of the world would be, if we lived in a George L. Green world where people were raised with the freedom to be, well, then yes, we'd have a different reality. So I'm not trying to take away from my little banter with you, Hudson, as I'm playing the villain a little bit. I'm definitely not denying the existence of what you're saying or unauthenticating it. However, though, I do deal with, because I'm a realist, atheistic, and sometimes agnostic bitch myself. And I can only deal with what the fuck, not even regardless of how it makes me feel, what is the reality and how does this play? How is it actualized? Regardless of how I feel about it. So yeah, I don't like it. But yes, men are, what males, we've always led humanity to destruction.
At that
That's
part.
because that's why
That's
I said
and
that's
that's
the
my
reason
whole
why.
point.
Listen,
That's
wait,
We've
my
always
listen.
point.
led
That's why I
humanity
said
to
what I
we've
said.
always led humanity to
That's the reason
destruction. It's
why
nothing
everybody said
new.
that it's all off kilter. It's because men kind of usurp that power and they're like taking it over. And if we would go back to the way it's supposed to be, then things would be, different, or just some more respect for each other in general.
This
Men
is
have
what we
taken over
do.
and they usurped everything, and that's why here we are.
Yeah, when I say niggas,
You
I don't
did you
just
hear what
mean
he
black
said
men.
though?
What he
Yeah,
say?
Did you hear what he
men,
said though?
we always, I
We
said
lead
men,
to
we
destruction.
males, we
Yeah, lead
around
to
the world,
destruction because women aren't leading.
we
That's
always lead humanity to destruction. It
we
don't
go.
matter how you look at it. It don't matter if we kill each other, we fuck with the planet, cause environmental issues. I mean, biological males who have ruled over the world are for the vast majority. And again, I don't think, and it's no shade, ladies, but you human too, bitch. I don't think you gonna do any better. No shade. I don't think nobody should be. There shouldn't be any context of any humanoid ruling over another humanoid. You know what I like about animals? Yeah, they're territorial. See, but tigers don't fuck with lions and the lion isn't that's a fraud. He ain't the king of the jungle. That nigga don't live in the jungle. He live in fucking terrains. That tiger is the king of the jungle. Because that tiger can climb, that tiger can swim, that tiger is agile. That roar that you see in the movie, that's not a fucking lion's roar. That ferocious roar, that's a tiger.
And the
A
male
lion
tigers are
don't go
scared of the
fight with a
female
tiger.
tigers too.
Lion. Oh yeah, and that's the difference though too. Now that's one thing I like about the animal kingdom. Yes, they have more of a fighting chance against the males. See, if females just, I'm talking about with no weapons, no training, if females just had a little bit more, like, I don't want to say testosterone, but it's just like I just know for a fact because me as a male, after you didn't got broke down, after the nigga done beat you down and got you in a certain subjugation, it ain't all doom and gloom, y'all. It's compromisation. You get civilized and you adjust to life, right? You don't have to see it that way. But I'm just saying, even me as a male, I'm like, oh shit, I went to the range the other day. I barely shoot a gun. You know what I'm saying? I'm training to be an armed officer. Nah, I'm sure Conscious right there could take a bitch ligaments off by precision. But, you know, I had to realize how vulnerable I am as a biological male when it comes to warfare in this system. I said, ain't no hands. I said, now, you know what I'm saying? It kind of made me have to have the realization that, yeah, the way that utility and warfare and I'm learning about weapons and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this is why, okay, this is why a lot of these niggas can conquer and, oh, this
You
is why they
said you're
don't
learning
fuck
to be
with
an officer?
armed security officer. Yeah, I'm a security guard now, but I'm gonna just
Oh,
be
all right. I was gonna
yeah, I'm gonna
say
be.
that's what we need. We need some real ones to
I'm
infiltrate the
thinking
system.
about it. I trust me, you know the thought because I love the city of Atlanta so much, and I'm in the city, and I love the people out here. It's funny because people see me in my rent-a-clock uniform, stop strike security looking bitch,
Not rent a
and
cop.
they think. And they be thinking I'm a security. They be giving my chubby ass free food and everything because they think I'm an officer. So you
See,
know,
that's the issue right there. And I believe in the 90s, more hoods, because I remember where I grew up, that we had black officers that were
mm-hmm.
from the neighborhood that we knew that would like hand out ice cream to the kids and play basketball with, like, the guys at the court and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
need more black. How come none of our little boys said
What's
they want to
crazy?
be
That's what I
police
came up here
officers when they
for.
grow up?
Brooklyn now. That's what I came up here for. My dad worked security, and he's gonna put me on. But I gotta switch my stuff.
What
I
happened,
got
Divine?
the
You broke
content.
up, Sugar.
Huh?
You were breaking up just now. Say it again.
I said that's kind of reason. That's part of the reason I came to Brooklyn. I'm up here with my pops and them, and he works security, and he supposed to be putting me on with a security job up here with him, and that's actually what I came up here for. But I'm not doing it. I've been up here since October. I ended up doing content creating, all this free time
I
in my
mean,
hand.
hey,
That's how the Asians did it, especially recently with this. You go to Chinatown, there's Asian cops that don't even speak English. That's how the Italians did it. That's how the Irish did it. Because upstate there was no right next to the no Negro signs. It was the no Irish and the no Italian signs right next to them. But they learned how to infiltrate the system and get what they want instead of just like I know the guys in the
no, no,
shortages.
but they're white. No, but hold the thing. But you're ignoring one part, sister. And they're white. They're
Maybe it's
Caucasian.
from where we're no, I think it's
They,
from where we're born and stuff like that. Because
no,
you don't
no,
know
they
how
were
guys they
no,
have it.
they were able to infiltrate because Italians, Irish, all that is still European. So when it came
It's
to
not,
making
but
things
these
about race, no, I'm not denying that. I remember that, but when they started dividing stuff by race specifically, right? Of course, the Irish and the Italians around the country, they chose to fall into whiteness and do some of the very heinous things, even when it comes to practicing the discriminatory practice up there up north, not just here in the South. It was just more, yes, it was more systematic, but might have been as cruel. But when it came down to deciding if you were white or you're black, yes, despite us being hand in hand in Brooklyn and certain different boroughs in the Bronx and Harlem from back in the day, when it came down to race and when they had the accessibility to whiteness because of their genome and phenotype, they chose whiteness. And that's where there's a difference there. So
They
it's
didn't
not that
choose
they're
nothing. It
better.
was
They didn't.
taken by force. It was taken. They would nothing. Nothing in this world was
No,
just handed to somebody by nothing. By
no,
and I don't
but
even
but
believe
but
that because the Africans that used to come to the states, they were treated almost like royalty.
because they're not you and they understand that, and because white capital, and that's what I was saying, there's a nuance that you're missing here, that's by design. It's not because they work harder than you, sis. It's because the government picked and choose and implemented and gave them the purgo and didn't give them the discriminatory. Because remember now, you're comparing yourself to people who immigrated from the country that they came from, and their ancestors had not been here for the generations to suffer the institutional, not just the slavery, sweetheart, the Jim Crow, the redlining, the institutional bombing of the major cities. See, they came after we fought for civil rights in 1965, that Civil Rights Act. So no, they didn't work any harder than you. They had
No, I
just
don't.
like
I
the
never said they worked harder than us. I said
yeah,
they
but yeah,
infiltrated the system.
yeah, but no, but here's the thing. Yeah, they infiltrated it. But here's the thing. I don't give them points for that because you're fucking white. It's not hard. You're white. They didn't do anything special, but they fucking white. They're not better. They didn't work any harder. They just happen to be Caucasoid.
I
That's
didn't
it.
say that they. I didn't. If I came off
No,
that
I'm
way,
not
that's not what
saying.
I'm
No,
saying.
I'm not
I'm
saying
saying
you
we
say
need more
that,
cops
but
so we
it.
could. Because at the end of the day, nothing speaks but the dollar. And I, like I said, at the top of the pyramid, there's all different colors. They keep these
Mhm.
subsections who keep us battling each other, so we're not seeing
Krishana,
each
you
other
said,
dangerously. They are point blank.
Huh?
Period. There's no getting around
be
it.
quiet real
That
quick. I'm just giving the feedback.
Okay.
No, I don't disagree with that, but I just always just try to insinuate that. But see, but they're in the position because government picked and choose. State government picked and choose that
and government can pick and
ethnicity.
choose because everybody let them. That's point blank. Period. I'm not.
Well,
I'm never going to think about it another way.
that's true to a certain degree. You're right there, but here's the to a certain degree you're right there. But here's the thing. Remember, even with us rising up against because it was legal and lawful, we had Rosewood, Tulsa, you know what I'm saying? We had Lanier Lakes. We had all these things despite after slavery and what was allowed to be done legally. See, these people of color who immigrated here, right, did not carry that. The laws were put in place, and even though racist white swingers use this, when they say that, they're kind of not lying when they say the 13 and 14 Amendment, that during the time of the nuance, don't take my word for it. Before the Civil Rights Act, look at those census. This mass immigration of all these different people of color weren't here. They didn't want to be here because they could see on TV what was happening with the Negroes. It wasn't until us bearing the cost of that. And then when people being able to come place and then say that they're a minority instead of it being specific of Negro and color, that was done to slight us. So it appears that other ethnicities come here and work harder when they're actually lazier than us because you left the country of your birth where you have all this history. See, we came enslaved and some of us were born here too. Neither here or there. If you fall into African American and Negro color, then you can trace your shit back and you're not a child of a second, third generation immigrant. You are a Black American. There is a different nuance in how government treats you, and we have been propagandized not to demand, to your point, Miss Hudson. We have been propagandized not to demand certain things or to see, oh, because of the Hispanics come here, it's a win for us. But there's no business or commerce or nothing that they vote. When they come, they only vote for their interests and things against you. When foreign blacks come here, just like in New Orleans, I'm used to seeing the baby Haitian businesses stay Haitian. Dominican businesses stay Dominican. Now, I do see Mexicans working in Chinese buffets, and I do see Native African working in East Asian places, but I don't see, yeah, they're in Black American neighborhoods, but they don't even, you can't even mop the fucking floor. So their business and their commerce, there isn't a conglomerate or a combination of Black unity. The Black immigrants who are coming here, and they're being American with their specific group or tribal versus us as Black Americans regardless of what state we're from, we have this unilateral sense of struggle with different nuances because we have that lineage history and that built here.
I
So
totally
no,
agree with you, and I get that.
yeah,
I've always felt that way. I totally agree with you, and it's not even that they're working harder with us. That's the issue. It's the so now what issue that like our
yeah,
people have been like trained almost to just say, oh well, this happened then and that happened then, and we like then. And I think like I really do think that it's a slap in the face to the people who did fight to get us where we are. We've come a long,
correct.
long way as a people, and like our ancestors and stuff like that who were hung on trees, they would,
Yeah,
if they saw where we were today, they wouldn't even
yeah,
understand it. They would be
and
so proud,
it's no
so
shade when
happy.
she say
They'd be like, get out there and get it. Not sit there and complain. How do you complain? And I had to
when
sacrifice the way I did to get you where you are.
I
How
didn't
dare you
vote, I
complain?
didn't die
And I'm
for
not
you to
saying that
just
those
be.
people, I don't give a crap what them people think of us. I want to
No,
see
I
what
don't
they
care what they
doing
think of us, but here's the
so that
problem
we could
is,
do it too.
but they
That's it.
come here.
That's the
No,
point.
but
That's
no,
it. That's all. Even with the
yeah,
white people,
but
like
no,
people are like,
no,
oh
but
no,
they
well, I
come
don't
here.
listen to
No,
this. I don't watch this.
no,
I
but
don't
they
read.
come.
But
No,
you
but the
always
difference
complaining
is
about how they got 1 foot ahead of you, 1 foot on top of you. You should be
right.
watching their politics. You should
You
be seeing
should. You're
what they're doing.
correct.
You should be listening to a little bit of their music. You need to
I
see
li-
what's going on. Walk
I
to
listen to
the
this.
Mormon, because the Mormons got it under control. People don't realize what the Mormons got going on. Listen to some of they church teachings and stuff like that.
You're
Look at their
right.
playbook. You will never
Yeah,
catch one team playing another without them watching their plays ahead of time. Like you would never see
you're
them
right.
before the game. They're gonna look through their old playbooks. They're gonna watch their old tapes of them playing and stuff like that, and recordings and all this other stuff. They're gonna study the players of the other team, and not just complain about why they haven't why they haven't
Yep.
won a game all season. They're not gonna do that.
That this is you are. I 100% agree with you. So that's what I'm saying. We can't sit here, and that's why I have such a strong
I can't hear
pride.
him. Let me
Oh,
see
you
what's
can't
going
hear
on.
me.
Hold on.
Damn. That's why. But to your point, I have such a strong pride, and so like yes, to reiterate that we as Black Americans, our ancestors, what you said earlier, they didn't die just so we can be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, y'all. They didn't die so we could be the leading in trap music and so Beyonce can do. I love Beyonce, but they didn't die for Beyonce, honey. We had people who were entertainers and who got the exceptional Negro treatment. And when unlike, not saying nothing too bad about it, but baby, there are other artists who did things that were more political for what it is besides giving you an imagery and selling you something. See that that's cute, but where's your politics and your money behind that? That ain't like Aretha Franklin. I ain't talking about her voice. That ain't like a Nina Simone. That ain't like the people who use their art. Gladys Knight, who people who was very clear what they stand. So now that you have more freedom and money, see, this is where the delusion has come in, and why we have been taught to see our celebrities. I know we about to probably get off here. This is why we need to stop this celebrity worship.
Conscious, you
We
are
got. I think Conscious is out of that league.
right. Conscious, where you at? You got quiet. You've been quiet for a little minute now.
Oh yeah, we the Conscious retired.
Over there.
Yeah, let's jump off, y'all. I think Conscious is out of there, baby.
No, we got to get him up so we can end the live. Though we can't just leave him sleep. He gonna be
Call him. I'm gonna call him, but I think he out of there, baby. His chakra. I think he used too much. He used too much MP.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
He is
tired.
there. Conscious, wake up. Earth to conscious.
Oh, you finally came to the camera all late and shit.
No, my camera be acting up sometimes.
Uh, yeah, like there we go. There you go.
Mm.
Oh, well, you
You
were able
fell
to jump
asleep?
back in this bitch. Yeah, Conscious out of there, Herbie. We running it. It's the
We got to
CTV
keep the
crew.
show alive till he wakes up.
This is ridiculous. Oh, let
What
me
you been
take.
doing
Look,
all day?
I'm looking at the time. I'm about to take my male horror plan B pill. You know what I call that, friend? That's my
What?
prep. That's prep. I call it my
No
male horror
prepping.
plan B.
Your
Yeah, I
meal
call it
plan
male horror.
B?
I call it my male horror plan B, Child
Not
Hudson.
plan
Yeah,
B.
it's a prep. Yeah, my male horror plan B.
Not male whore plan
I
B.
straight to the prep too.
Shit, I
Right.
got to take prep. You can't trust.
My
Not
cousin said you didn't like the way
even.
it sealed. Does it bother you?
What?
The
See,
prep.
when I first had it, you heard me. When I first started taking it, it when I first started taking it, my stool was a little irregular. Like it came
Mm-hmm.
out semi-solid for like the first few days, but then
Thanks for the
after
visual.
that, huh?
I said thanks for the visual, but I'm kidding. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you know,
After
but
that,
you know, but after that, I was fine. I wasn't, weirded out or nothing like that. I said, oh yeah, especially moving to Atlanta, no shade, and I live in the city, the heart of the city. And I mean, I like to have my little fun and stuff like that. Me and my partner are open. We're not poly. We
hmm
just have our fun together and separate. We've been together 16 years. We started like that. Everybody be like, oh, did you have to spice it up? Nah, baby, we started off freaky from the beginning. I don't have time for the fakery and all of this. I don't need to give you no customer service representative. I'm not
A
a
lot of y'all
monogamous nigga.
said which version you
hmm
got. They said it's a shot or a pill. Which one is
No,
best?
I got to get on some insurance, not insurance, y'all. Some
He said,
insurance.
insurance.
I gotta get on some insurance so I can get the shot, but I'm on the pill. But I'm a responsible person because it's like, you gotta have to think about it. Do I rather become HIV positive and no shade, but do I want to become positive and then have to get to undetectable? Then bitch, you have to take more than one pill then to keep
hmm
undetectable. So I rather just take one pill to stay negative. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I be at my job working overnight, if I'm about to do a double, I keep an extra one in my bag. You hear me?
I lost my favorite baby cousin because he didn't want to take no pills, no medicine, or nothing like that. He's like the prep bothered him. He didn't like the way it made him feel and all this stuff.
Mm,
And it's so sad to see like a young person under 30 in a hospice and like it. Whew, I miss him so much.
I'm
I
sorry to
wish
hear
he
that.
would have just. I wish he
Yeah, and
would have
I'm 40.
just.
Yeah, and I'm
yeah.
40 years old. It's like, nah, baby, my immune system. I mean, I'm pretty okay now. You know what I'm saying? But I just like I don't want to, be positive. But then I don't take because I'm not just out here like that all the time. Because there's another pill that you could take. There's another pill you could take for your STD prevention. See, I'm not trying to text my, kidneys like this. This is the first time ever in my life I regularly took anything like a pill. But I
Yeah,
looked
he
at the
said it was
rates of
kidneys.
HIV. I say HIV rates like new infections. See, undetectable people don't bother me even before I was on PrEP. That didn't bother me, you heard me? But it's the new infection rate that made me think, wait a minute.
What's the with these kids not wearing like protection at all? We was big growing up with TLC with the
That
condom on the iPad. They was giving them out in school. We had the commercials and stuff like that. These
No,
kids are
they
just
still wear protection. They still promote condoms and stuff. They just
not like they used to do.
they do, but
They
here's the thing, baby. Can I
because I
just
work
be
at a gas
honest?
station. I be selling condoms all day, every day.
Yeah,
well
but
they did they
see,
used to get them out every concert you go to. There was a big old minivan or wagon or whatever handed out condoms. The schools they were handing them out everywhere you go. I had so many condoms that I've never even seen a eggplant. And I'm like, what the hell? The
baby, I
female
would say,
condoms too.
nah, baby. People, life has gotten so bad that niggas need to feel that thing raw. You heard me? Things has
Some
gotten
people,
so bad. Life be so bad, and and
yeah,
I'm
so that thing
a
raw.
baby man. And it's yes, I can be honest with myself. I can be honest. You take risk choices, and this is why I had to be honest with myself. It's like, okay, bitch, you like raw sex. I don't want nothing with no. I don't. The only thing I want on plastic is my leftovers, bitch.
Amara, no,
So.
Amar's not an ambassador. She just be on that shit. She's not an
You
ambassador.
know, yeah, but that's why I mean, and to each his own because a lot of these STDs, STIs you can catch, even if you wear a
Wearing a
condom,
condom. Mm-hmm.
because if it's a cancer or stuff like that, in certain parts of the body that you're not thinking, you come skin into contact with that baby. That's what it is.
Wonder why you breaking
So.
out.
Hold on,
Yeah,
y'all.
so you got to just choose, because niggas, everybody lies. You take a risk
Mm-hmm.
when if you decide to have sex with somebody. So I feel like now, of course, the thing I'm glad I don't often, sleep with women. You know what I'm saying? So that would make me nervous about messing with women or having intercourse with women because y'all asses can get pregnant from pre-cum and shit, and I don't
You
have
sound like
time
Wiley.
for it.
Now you sound like Wiley.
I don't have time for it.
It's crazy.
I don't have time for it. So it's that part for me when it comes to the female sex.
I
But I
tried to
don't.
call him
But
on
I
Instagram,
love
y'all.
seeing a
He
queer
ain't.
man be a father. There's so many like
The shit
natural
went straight to
queer
voicemail,
fathers
child.
that I see out
Yeah.
here. Well, from where I'm from, there's so many
Lord,
like
hold
with
on. My thing.
biological children, and they good fathers. I
Oh yeah,
love
like
it.
yeah. I mean, people tell me I would make a great dad, but it's like, my daddy didn't have his first child till he was my age. I had my older brother at 40. That was his first child. So you
You got
And
his
they
know,
show them
number?
love. But where I'm from, they show them love too. I'm be like, you better leave them kids alone. They've been fighting their whole life. They don't mess with
right?
their
What you say?
kids.
Yeah, no, what you said, Divine? I mean, to be honest, it's the sad part to it though. I don't want to have a child because of how terrible like adults have been. I don't want to have a child because if my child is queer or straight or anything, I feel like I could carry this life on enough. I don't want. And this is just me. If I was heterosexual, that's why I'm grateful. I mean, see, I used to want to be really bisexual, but now that I'm kind of on the spectrum now and I have self-control and stuff like that, because I
Mm-hmm.
think about it, I said, shit, if I was up there having sex with women as much as I've had sex with men, yeah, I'd have a color. I'd have a baby in every color. A lot of Black American babies, but I'd have a lot of nationality babies too. If I
You will
had
have one
sex
all over the
with
world.
women, if I had sex with women like I've had sex with the different kind of men I've had fun with, yeah, and I think about that because a heterosexual person can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all
Universal
the time,
pappy.
yeah,
Universal
heterosexual.
pappy.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all you want is the opposite sex, and that's a different thing. And yeah, that type of feeling comes with another consequence. But again, you could do others. There's other things heterosexuals could do than just traditional intercourse. But let's just be honest. That's for some people that's the main appetite. But then y'all could do some other freaky shit and don't have to get a bitch pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Conscious, you want a kid? You want kids? Where he at?
Are you
Wake up. You want
not you?
biological kids?
There you are. I just tried to call you on Instagram.
No.
I was
We
like, "Is
could
you asleep,
drop
huh?"
down.
I was
Yeah,
like,
he
"How
was
was you asleep?"
asleep. Let him. We carried. We were talking about kids. Look at him.
Right. We was talking about kids. We went on a tangent about all kind of stuff. Prep. We done educate the life about all kind of stuff.
No,
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me be a responsible adult when I took my male whore playing B pill, aka crack. That's what I call it.
Yep.
Go ahead. You need to get you some rest, baby. You need to
yes,
drop us off.
Mm-hmm.
yes, I gotta get out of here. This was beautiful though, y'all. I think if I hold it.
I gotta find my wig. I cannot find it.
I
Lord.
love y'all.
Good thing you
I'll
off
talk
camera,
to.
child.
Love
It
y'all
was a
too.
pleasure, Hudson, being on the panel with you, girl. We
Yes,
got to definitely
Yes.
talk. But I enjoyed it. It
yes.
was fun. I enjoyed you so much. Of
Yes.
course, you too, Divine Cutie.
You know I love you too, IG. You know I love you.
Blessings
Uh-huh.
to you all.
Mm.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.